Let's be having you. Right, last song, and here we go. Let's be having you. Come on, everyone, let's go. Come on. Let's be having you. Nottingham Forest. No. Nottingham Forest. So Wait, what the hell's going on? Why is that not working? Okay, that's weird. Okay, guys, sorry, just editing my, I forgot to, change the UI, guys. But hello, welcome to the stream again. Yes, we were just doing the Tottenham versus Arsenal, and that was a really, really ridiculous, dramatic game. Dramatic game. Very dramatic game, actually. So we're going to be listening to the thing today. The they call it the what's it called? The thing today. Oh, forgotten what the word's called. That communication thing. What's it called? Commentary. So we're gonna listen to the commentary as well. So sorry for you just seeing me editing that, but anyway. So here we are, and here we go for another big game for Manchester City, for them to start, because Arsenal won the first their game today, so it looks like that Manchester City would like to try and win this game, so then they can stay up and try and get the win, like the king of the whole of Premier League. So here we are at the as it stands for all the people in the Premier League, and all around. This is it. So Arsenal are in first, Man City are in second, and Liverpool are now in third. Aston Villa are in fourth. Tottenham are in fifth. In sixth, it is Man United. In seventh, Newcastle. In eighth, West Ham United. In ninth, Chelsea. Then we have in 10th, Bournemouth. In 11th, Wolves. 12th, Brighton. 13th, Fulham, and we have in 14th, Crystal Palace. Then we have in 15th, Everton. Then we have in 16th, Brentford. Then we have in 17th, Nottingham Forest. Really, not like they're skimming the relegation zone. Luton Town in 18th in the relegation zone, and 19th, Burnley. No, not Burnley. Yeah, Burnley. Burnley is in 19 in the relegation, and Sheffield United are in the relegation as well in 20th, and that is the Premier League. So there you have it. That is the Premier League, and this is going to be a really, really intense game. Another really intense game, but I think that it does say on here that it looks like Man City have dominated their games. So here's the lineups for the game, and I think it's kicking off now. So guys, I'm now gonna leave you to the commentary. Yeah, commentary. Yeah, the commentary. I'm now going to leave you guys to the commentary, and I will see you guys in at halftime and talk to you guys about what's going to be happening through the times, through whatever. So, guys, thanks for tuning in, and let's go and let's have fun tonight again. So here we go.
And after heavy rain for much of the day here in the East Midlands, Manchester City with Ederson in goal, Walker, Akanji, Aki and Gvardiol as Nottingham Forest have their first attack, and the ball comes across for a chance, and the shot from Williams is blocked inside the penalty area. Defenders got back in there. The cross from the left-hand side from Aina fell to Nico Williams inside the box, arriving on it, but too many defenders in the way.
I say, John, that's got to be a goal. Nico will, at the far post, just stick your foot through it. He's just mishit it. It's come off it. His side foot is straight in the back of the net there. What an opportunity.
What a chance, and here he is. He's got another chance to chase after the ball, but Ederson comes out of the penalty area. His clearance hits Williams. Could have gone anywhere. Chris Woods onto this. He plays it back centrally to Danilo. Now Aina to the left-hand side to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi then back to Aina. Gets it onto his right foot. Low ball to the edge of the area. Basically passed it straight to Rodri. And Rodri then, unopposed, is able to bring the ball forward towards the halfway line and then pass it out to the right-hand side. Doku is on the right, Grealish is on the left. De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva either side of Rodri, and Julian Alvarez up front, who's not a bad stand-in for the 31-goal Erling Haaland. Alvarez, who scored on Thursday night when they pulverised Brighton, and has himself scored 17 this season.
I'm just looking, John, they are playing a back five in a line there, and Danilo Gibbs White's playing alongside of him, and they're trying to make it narrow with the Langa when they don't have the ball, but they are playing a back five, and they are literally a back five.
Yeah, Murillo is the middleman of the central three. Niakate to his left with his wrist strapping and wristbands, and then Willy Bolly has come in on the right-hand side of that back three, the 33-year-old former Wolves man, who's barely played this year. Just one appearance for Nottingham Forest so far this year because of a couple of injuries. Oh, that's given away by Murillo to Bernardo Silva. Now through to Grealish, and Murillo makes up for initially his mistake and then apologises, and that challenge puts it behind for a Manchester City corner.
Well, we've had a start already when two opportunities. Nico Williams at one end for Nottingham Forest should have done better, and Jack Grealish should have done better with his first touch. Bernardo Silva puts him in on the run, but it doesn't control it well, but they've got a corner out of it. I think we're going to see goals today, John.
Yeah, I think so. And you said it in the build-up to the match. Forest, everything's got to go right for them today. They cannot make mistakes like Murillo did there, passing the ball to Bernardo Silva, of all people. So, Kevin De Bruyne, Manchester City fans in good voice as well. De Bruyne with a corner into the near post, attempted flick on by Gvardiol, comes back to Doku. His shot's blocked, bounces to Danilo on the edge of the box. And Danilo's pass sets off Morgan Gibbs-White. Then Aina helps him out as a step over from him, but then Gibbs-White can't reach the return pass. It's actually Alvarez who's there running back with Morgan Gibbs-White, and it was Alvarez who just increased his pace and was able to take the ball back for Manchester City. So it is Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 0. This is 5 Live on our Premier League Sunday. BBC Sounds as well. If you're on the move, you can listen to 5 Live Sports Extra on BBC Sounds, as well as all of the BBC's live radio, and also the BBC World Service listeners are with us. Here's Rodri, 25 yards out to Alvarez, then back to Rodri. We are going to go to Dundee in a moment, but Manchester City on the attack with Gvardiol. Gvardiol at left back, slips the ball into the penalty area, but Bolly is able to come across and cut it out before it reaches Bernardo Silva, and it's eventually out for a throw into Manchester City nearer the halfway line. So what news, Gavin Wallace?
Well,
What news?
we've got
What
a couple
news?
of goals, actually, to be honest, Ian. Dundee have just scored. Celtic scored a couple of minutes ago. I'll tell you that one first. James Forrest snatched the ball off Antonio Portales. He slid in Kyogo, who then played him back. Forrest put it beyond the goalkeeper through his legs. And just a second ago, Antonio Portales himself has now managed to get a one back for Dundee, albeit it was a big deflection of Aramida. So, Dundee 1, Celtic 2.
So Celtic leading. So it's already been a goal for Forest then, Chris, this afternoon. James. Not Nottingham. And Manchester City with the ball, with Doku, plays it back towards the halfway line, and Nathan Ake. And an opening goal in the National League semi-final as well. It's Bromley 0, Altrincham 1. Gvardiol playing it square to Rodri. Manchester City, they've got rid of the salted caramel hoodies, white shirts, maroon shorts, white socks. Grealish into the penalty area, then flicks it back to Gvardiol, square from him. De Bruyne's ball overhits it, through. Hence the Forest cheers. But it is through for a home goal kick, 0-0.
It's like we thought, John. City dominating possession, and Forest being very, very disciplined, as they were there, and they've overhit it. Rodri goes out for a goal kick to Forest. Forest have got to keep that tempo. As soon as Man City get over the halfway line or the final third, they've got to work really hard to close them down.
Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 0. 5 minutes played. Chris Waddle with us, England international, 62 caps, watching Jack Grealish, who himself was, for a time, Britain's most expensive player. Passes the ball behind Bernardo Silva, who struggled to keep it in. He did keep it in, but he presented it to Nico Williams. And Forest are away to the halfway line, but Elanga loses out to a combination of Rodri and Gvardiol. No shame losing out to Rodri. As De Bruyne is tackled centre field by Niakate, who has actually stepped into the midfield there. I'm sure that's what Nuno will be asking for his central defenders. And then Walker stumbles rather and puts it out for a throw.
I think once they get within 30-40 yards, they've got to make it compact. They've got to get near Kevin De Bruyne, people like Jack Grealish. You can't give them time to get their head up and pick the pass.
We've got Premiership Rugby Union games going on, Super League match as well. Latest is Gloucester 17, Exeter 38, and Newcastle 14, Sale 21. And Nottingham Forest with Gibbs White playing in this deeper position. Dominguez not involved at all today. We've been told that he's rested as a precaution, the Argentine Dominguez, so he's not on the bench either. Murillo with his left foot hits a nice looking pass to Aina on the left hand side. Aina has the option in field, which he uses, of Hudson-Odoi, who then goes back towards the halfway line. Forward from Murillo all the way through to Akanji, who's able to control that on his thigh.
You can't afford, John, to give the ball away cheaply. You know, you work hard, your discipline, your concentrations levels have got to be high, and when you win it, you've got to look after the ball, especially easy passes like that.
Nottingham Forest then drop back to the halfway line, and Manchester City come forward. So City now know that after Arsenal's win earlier, they have to win this to move back to within a point of the leaders. What a good win for Arsenal that was, Chris, although it's a little bit twitchy at the end.
Yeah, well, that's a bit of nerves, and we know Tottenham are capable of upsetting and change results, can't they? They're good enough and they're dangerous enough, so Arsenal were hanging on at the end. Yeah,
but that was one of the big tests for Arsenal,
yeah, it was.
And they've come through it. So it might well go to the final Sunday.
Well, it's good for the neutral, isn't it?
It is. Here's Walker out to the right-hand side to Doku. Doku just holding onto the ball, then pushes it infield towards Alvarez, looking bright and sharp, very involved in the play. Bernardo Silva just outside the area, volleys in with a tackle, good tackle as well, nice and simple. But then Gibbs White is dispossessed by Rodri, and now De Bruyne, left side of the area, shoots, oh, good save, Sells. He shot between the legs of Williams, very clever. And Sells had to dive down to his left. That was heading into the bottom corner.
Yeah, checks back on his right foot, 7-8 yards out, hard angle, slight deflection. Keeper gets down very, very well, Sells, and pushes it away for a corner. Matt
Sells, the goalkeeper, who was brought in February from Strasbourg, where he was playing under Patrick Vieira this season. So it's a corner to Manchester City. Here it comes from Bernardo Silva, headed away. The referee's seen a push, and it is a free kick to Nottingham Forest in their own 6-yard box. And latest in the Super League is Hull FC 12, Leeds 18. So free kick to Nottingham Forest. So far, so good. 8 minutes played, and they've survived quite a big scare with that brilliant attack, really, from Manchester City. Trademark attack.
Yeah, move the ball, switch the play from one side to the other. I mean, they all know where each other is. The movement, the weight, the passes are great. Slight deflection, which made the goalkeeper stretch a little bit more than he wanted. But, so far, Forest have been very disciplined.
Forest taking a short goal kick, and Murillo. Now Danilo, he was fortunate there. I'm not sure he knew exactly where that was going, but he found Gibbs White. However, that's given away by Bolly, Gvardiol, and then Bolly just puts his foot through it when it comes back to him, and then it's missed by Walker, who was with Hudson-Odoi on the halfway line. So Aina is onto this quickly. Red shirts pouring forward. Aina dwells on the ball, and he's then fouled by Jeremy Doku. A clumsy challenge from Doku, and that's conceded a free kick for Forest, 25 yards out, in a good position.
Yeah, Aina's getting a lot of time on that ball on the left-hand side, isn't he? Hudson-Odoi runs Kyle Walker off, and he finds a lot of space. Joins in very, very quickly. Unfortunately, he's that far ahead of most of the players. He's got no options ahead of him.
So the referee, who's going to be an important figure today, of course, as they always are, but I think particularly today, Simon Hooper taking charge of this match will know that it's very much under scrutiny, him and the rest of the officials.
Yep, this is Gibbs White's territory, isn't it? So I'm sure he fancies this. It's a nice, 25 yards out to get it up and over the wall. It's a great position for him.
Remember, these clubs drew 1-1 last season, so it was not straightforward. That was in the February of last season. Steve Cooper's Nottingham Forest, as they were at the time. Quite a significant change of personnel, as you can imagine, with Nottingham Forest. But Gibbs White is eyeing this up. Williams to the left of the ball, Danilo to the right, so there is the option of a tap, but I think it's going to be Gibbs White to strike this. 10 minutes on the clock, it's 0-0. Sunshine on the City ground. A free kick to Forest. Little steps from Gibbs White over the wall, but over the bar as well. Over the top left corner as he looked at it. Ederson dived for it, but I think he knew it was not dipping under the bar.
No, it's not the best effort. And I've got to say, Johnny will be disappointed with that, because he's got the room to get it up and over onto the target. He's gone over the bar, and he'll be disappointed with that. He should be doing better.
0-0. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 0. So we will be hearing, I'm sure, from Mikel Arteta at half-time in this match, and I guess quite possibly from Ange Postecoglou as well. And another good win for Bournemouth today, 3-0 against Brighton, who are really struggling. They were totally outclassed, weren't they, on Thursday night?
Well, they play a certain way, don't they, and they get caught out on a lot of occasions.
Here's Rodri playing it forward towards De Bruyne. De Bruyne then looks to Doku. Doku takes on the defender, beats him. Aina in with a challenge. Well, he beat Niakate, and Aina just... There was enough contact there for Doku to go down just outside the corner of the box, and it's a free kick to Manchester City right there.
Well, that's what he's got, Doku, hasn't he? Quick feet, great change of pace. Yes, I can see why people say at times he's a bit loose, but he's still a young man, and he's going to be a very good player.
Yeah, exciting.
Oh, he is a good player.
He is, yeah, exciting talent. Quite a bright character as well. They like that, don't they, at Manchester City?
Yeah.
He spoke to us ahead of the Belgium game last month, and he had plenty to say. Interestingly, free kick to De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva, the two of the masters at work here. Bernardo Silva, considerably shorter than Kevin De Bruyne, just runs his fingers through that thick strawberry blonde hair of his, and then takes a couple of strides back. Bernardo Silva runs over it. De Bruyne delivers it into the 6-yard box, but Murillo was there. Big, strong central defender, the Brazilian, almost under the crossbar when he headed it up and over into the lower tier of the Trent end.
That was a great ball in, flat, a lot of pace on it, just over the wall, so difficult to deal with. Going back towards your goal, brilliant clearance.
Yeah, tough for a goalkeeper that as well. Just delivered into that area, stayed on his line cells, but the defender did his job. Murillo, who is standing there, sturdy legs, baggy white shorts. Corner for De Bruyne then from the left-hand side as the sun shines through between the Trent end and the Peters Taylor stand. Raises his right arm, De Bruyne. Here's the delivery, it's a deep one, right to the edge of the area. Bernardo Silva got it all wrong. He tried to just flick it to Alvarez, who pulled away and had space there. One touch there, and Alvarez could have been in a very good position. Forest lose it though. Here's Doku, left foot shot, bounces wide. probably a couple of feet or more.
I think the keeper always had it, but why not? Middle of the park, just outside the D, middle of the goal, gets onto his left foot. Decent strike, always going wide.
And you can hear the crowd, the Nottingham Forest supporters. You can hear, I feel them unsettled at the moment. Forest
Can't get out, John.
cannot get out.
Can't get out, they can't put 3 passes together. Yeah, they go on the break, this is their best bet.
It is now. They do get forward, and the ball is played by Alanga to Nico Williams, who shoots from the angle on the right side of the box. I mean, it was straight at Ederson, caught it well enough, but the goalkeeper had a good sight and just pushed it away wide to his left for a corner.
This is what they're going to rely on today. A lot of counter-attacking mistakes by Man City, try and punish them. They nearly did.
Well, I remember Nuno's Wolves winning against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, and I remember his very first match, his first competitive match as the Tottenham manager. They beat Manchester City, Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, at the London Stadium. 0-0 here, but it's a corner, and that is taken in by Danilo, and it was blocked round the near post by Rodri. He got his body to it, and the question was, as Chris Waddle says, you know, was there an arm involved in that? I mean, the arm was right down by his side, and he's used his body to deflect it wide. It was Gibbs White who was trying to flick it on.
I'm going definitely no.
So it's a second consecutive corner for Forest. Danilo delivers it in. Ederson struggling, and they've cleared it away. They've cleared it away inside the 6-yard box. That was an excellent delivery. And now here's another one, which is headed away by Akanji. And the goalkeeper clattered the Forest player. And the referee has given a free kick the other way. He's given a free kick to Manchester City. And it seemed to me that Akanji headed that away, but Ederson missed it and caught the Forest player.
I agree with you there, John. I'm surprised. His
Willy
bullet,
Bolly.
yeah, he's lying down. He took a big hit off the goalkeeper there, Ederson, and Ederson's only shoulder, but I think he's got it the wrong way around here, the referee.
Well, this could be a test here for the fourth official, Thomas Bramall, who, I mean, Ederson has stayed down.
That was a great corner, by the way.
Yeah.
You don't see enough of them, by the way. A lot of pace.
The initial corner,
yep.
which was Ederson was put under a good deal of pressure, and now we're just seeing a replay now of the follow-up when Ederson put in the challenge on. Well, it's just exactly as we said. Akanji gets up, heads it away, and Ederson, diving for it, has collided with Bolly behind Akanji.
I'm sure VAR's looking at it. We know Forest love VAR, so you know, we'll see what comes here. But that, I don't get that. Ederson jumps up actually. Oh, Mark Clattenburg's.
He has the television camera.
Why is he leaving the stand?
Has picked out Mark Clattenburg.
He's started his car up.
He is still sitting in his seat, Chris. And needless to say, that's been looked at. And, you know, they have a case here. They have a case for a penalty.
I totally agree. I'm surprised there's nothing happening at the minute. It doesn't look like anybody's looking at anything, or... I don't get that. I don't get that.
And it's Ederson, who's had his injury problems this season. Ederson, who was feeling his shoulder, and he collided shoulder first into Willy Bolly, who's okay. He's on his feet. He's actually just getting a little bit of treatment on the edge of the field. And VAR, presumably. Peter Banks is the video assistant referee. And thanks to our journalistic colleague Ben Rumsby, I don't know whether you saw his article in the week, where he actually listed all of the various clubs that the Premier League referees are either a supporter of, where they're from, and who they can't take charge of. And Peter Banks is from Liverpool. Thomas Bramall, the fourth official, is from Sheffield. And Simon Hooper, the referee, is from Swindon. So I think you're on fairly safe.
Yeah, you're very safe there.
And
I'm surprised though, John. No, nothing's been looked at now.
Well, they've had a look, and whatever thoughts they had, it's been dismissed. And it remains Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 0. In the WSL, Manchester United have just taken a late lead away to Leicester. So that is 1-0. Ella Toone with a goal. And it is Manchester City with Gvardiol back towards the halfway line. The earlier scores in the WSL: Everton 1, Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 1, West Ham 1, and Tottenham 1, Brighton 1. City playing it back to Ake. Gets that ball under control. It actually spun up right in front of his face, but then brought it down. Here's Gvardiol on the left-hand side. Low ball played in. That's cleared by Gibbs White. And then Forest go back to Nico Williams, who was also one of the figures last week, asked for his observations after what he said following the match at Goodison Park. Danilo playing it forward, but that breaks down on the halfway line. Walker to Doku, then back to Kyle Walker, the Manchester City captain. Right-footed ball across the box to Bernardo Silva, and unusually he miscontrolled it, and that touch was cleared away by Niakate. Usually has such a soft touch. And then Forest, as they try to play it forward, it's deflected infield. Gibbs-White can't get there. Bernardo Silva, now Alvarez running from deep, rolls his foot over the ball, still going Alvarez, and then has to cut back and play it back centrally towards Rodri. Rodri's trying to pick out the run of Doku, a high pass, volleyed back across, but the assistant on the far side, the flag is up, and it was out of play before Doku volleyed it back over. Goal kick.
And I think, looking at the two managers, I think Nunes, Espera, will be absolutely delighted the way Forest have coped with this Manchester City side so far. Pep Guardiola looks very, very frustrated. They're not moving the ball quick enough. They're not moving it with purpose. It's not Man City what we're used to seeing. They're playing very slow at the minute. They don't seem to get any rhythm about themselves. Forest dealing with them very easily.
Yeah, and Forest doing okay with Gibbs-White and Danilo as the central midfielders in front of the three centre-backs. Bolt played forward from the halfway line, and Danilo, one or two of his teammates are looking to Danilo there, who hit the long pass, but there were options.
Well, there's nobody on the right wing, so I don't know why. And it had to look to the Doyle there, just took off down that left wing, and he was in.
Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 0. City fans have got the probably 2,000-3,000 of them, something like that, in the lower tier of the Bridgeford stand. They could be close to real history, potentially the first team to win 4 English League titles in a row. But Arsenal, after their win, are right in there as well, as Forest now, with Hudson-Odoi, can't take it on. Walker was able to get a touch on that. Now he has Grealish. He runs his foot over the ball, plays it infield to De Bruyne. Now back out to the left-hand side, and Gvardiol drives it across as Williams slides across him, and that goes harmlessly behind the near post for a goal kick.
Well, we've been talking about this game, John, all day. About well, you know, on paper it looks a comfortable victory for Manchester City, but at the minute they're making hard work of it, and I've got to give Forest a lot of credit here. They're so disciplined, working ever so hard and causing themselves out on attack, looking very dangerous.
Forest coming forward again, doing exactly that. But Aina has to check back, and just a little ball at close quarters to Danilo, and Forest actually go back 10-15 yards into their own half. Long pass from Niakate though, and an important touch from Ake, that lifted it high. It was caught by Ederson. The Forest fans are saying, how about that for a back pass? But that was actually an excellent challenge from Ake.
And there's a great way out as well. Look at that, the pace hooks, and it died down that. He ran down the middle and he nearly got that.
He did. And Grealish, lovely, back from Alvarez, and then the challenge has come in from either side on Grealish, who goes down. That's given us a free kick. Finger wagging from the referee as Nottingham Forest players protest about that. Danilo and Murillo were the two Forest players. Grealish going down. He's so effective at winning a free kick, Jack Grealish, and he's done exactly that here, but the Forest players clearly feel there wasn't much in that. But it is a free kick to Manchester City, very much in De Bruyne territory.
Yes, definitely. And as you say, Jack Grealish wins a free kick. We'll just get a benefit of a replay. It was a free kick when you see the replay. I don't know why Danilo's saying he didn't touch him. He did, and it's a great position. Gibbs-White's territory where it was like before for Forest. Can Kevin De Bruyne do any better and hit the target?
Forest fans singing to the referee, you don't know what you're doing. It's probably aimed at officialdom generally. Grealish was going down, as they say, he was looking for it, but I think there was contact from Danilo. It's a free kick then, Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne. The breeze is ruffling their shirts. De Bruyne steps into the shadows and hits the free kick into the top of the wall, and the player it hit, Bolly, has been poleaxed by it. It hit him in the face or the top of the head, and he went straight down, and he's okay. He's sitting up now, he's rubbing his head, and he's applauded there, and he's given a slap on the back by Mats Sells, the goalkeeper too, and the medical people are not called for, and something's been said, I think, by Rodri, possibly, because referee Hooper is talking to Rodri and to Bernardo Silva, and he's got the ball back from them. This is because players going to resume with a drop ball, and there has been an issue, hasn't there, here in the Liverpool match. Remember what happened in that match?
Yeah, they've given it back. They've given it back, look.
And therefore, Simon Hooper has very purposefully gone out of his way to explain to Manchester City and to Nottingham Forest what the procedure is going to be with this drop ball. Are you watching, Mark Clattenburg?
There you go. And he is.
He is watching. And I think he'll probably have a smile on his face. And I suspect that from Simon Hooper, that directive came right from the top.
Yep.
Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 0. And it is an even match. That was a decent opportunity when Gibbs White was put through a few moments ago when Aki made the challenge. But De Bruyne has had a chance at the other end that was well saved. A couple of free kicks each. Ball bounces out of play. And Pep Guardiola is able to recover the ball and whisper one or two words to Gvardiol, who will take the throw. Yeah, they're in a contest here, Manchester City.
Most definitely. You've got to the thing when you play Man City, John, is you've got to be switched on the whole 90 whatever minutes you play. You can't switch off.
Rodri goes for one of those long passes. What a pass that is. Doku is looking to race onto it. Aina did well, actually. He got there first, but it was one of those passes that you sort of see with the tracer attached to it on the football highlights. It dropped into the perfect area. Throw-in is taken. Murillo does well. He's impressed, hasn't he, this season? There are plenty who are interested in him. Actually, they say Manchester City were interested in him before he moved from Corinthians here to Nottingham Forest. Throw-in taken by Manchester City down into the shadows of the Trent end, near the dead ball line. Doku receives it, then plays it further back, and Rodri coming in field, just back behind him to De Bruyne, whose pass is cut out by Danilo on the edge of the penalty area, and Forest are able to clear it away with Niakate inside his penalty area, where it's headed in field, and Gibbs White is challenged by Rodri. So Manchester City quickly come forward. Forest thought they had a chance to break there, and now Grealish has been followed by Willy Bolly all the way to the halfway line, and in fact all the way back into his own half. And then Bolly, I think it's point made, and he retreats back into position, and Grealish still has the ball. Grealish to Gvardiol, and then Grealish puts his foot on it, gives it square. Rodri 30 yards out. Rodri rolls it to Gvardiol on the left-hand side, then Gvardiol back to De Bruyne, and Gvardiol was in an offside position, so it's a free kick to Nottingham Forest. It remains Forest 0, Manchester City 0. In the Super League, it's ended. Hull FC 12, Leeds 18, and back to Dundee and Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, John, Dundee 1, Celtic 2. James Forrest brace enough to see off an Antonio Portales second half goal. The best, though, was his first. Kyogo laid up Forrest on the edge of the box on the half hour, and the way he wrapped his foot round it was just sumptuous, and it nestled in the far corner. Dundee 1, Celtic 2.
So exactly as you were at the top of the Premiership, after both Rangers and Celtic have won 2-1 away from home today, as Aina is able to get away with the ball, but it bounces up and he gets caught underneath his feet, and Manchester City, quick as a flash, are back in position. But Aina is able to swing out a ball to the right-hand side to Williams. Williams now back for the cross from Gibbs White to the back post, and it's headed up back on a cross goal, but over the top by Chris Wood.
I've got to say, I've been quite impressed with Forest. Defended well. And when they break in numbers, and they've got a lot of pace, a lot of movement, and they're causing Man City problems. And they've come here thinking, yeah, Man City may have a lot of ball, but they've not hurt at all. They've not hurt Forest at all.
Chris Wood, though, in the right place there. He's done well, hasn't he? The New Zealander. Very well. And he's got, under Nuno, 10 goals in 15 appearances. That's not bad for a team struggling at the bottom. And I have to say, I was amazed to see that Chris Wood has the best shot-to-goal conversion rate of any forward in the top 5 European leagues this season. Better than Haaland,
wow,
Kane, Mbappe. It's Chris Wood at the top of that one. 0-0. Harry Kane now with 42 goals after another couple yesterday for Bayern Munich, which is his best season for a club, 42 goals. Full times as well in the Premiership Rugby Union. Gloucester 17, Exeter 38, and Newcastle 14, Sale 35. Manchester City on the attack. De Bruyne to Bernardo Silva, 2 men around him. They've done that very effectively, Forest. Whenever there's danger, they've got a couple of men on the Manchester City man, mainly Rodri, now forward to Alvarez, who's dropped deep to try and find that space, which he has at the moment, but it's 30 yards out, and he's got banks of red Forest shirts in front of him, so the pass has to go out towards the right-hand side. Pep Guardiola watching in his chunky black sweater with his arms folded, and Manchester City with the ball at the feet of Bernardo Silva, who's away over on the right wing now. Then it's into Alvarez, still in the full-back position. Doku now, but again, we've got 4 Forest players, everyone apart from Wood behind the ball. Gvardiol, then to the left-hand side, to Jack Grealish, into the area against Williams, tries to cross it, but Williams is able to block it, although immediately he clutches his right hamstring and he sits down, Williams.
Yeah, he could have pulled that. That looks like he's tweaked it, and I mean, the way they're playing at the minute, Forest, they don't need any change. They've got a good rhythm about them at the minute, holding Man City quite comfortably.
Well, that'll be a big setback if they lose him. I mean, they've got Montiel on the bench.
Yep.
Yeah, just one of the World Cup winners. So there is an able deputy who can come on. But Nico Williams is very much the man in possession, the Welshman. But I suspect that this is it for him. You would think with that reaction, and the physios are now with him, and that one of them has got his right leg on top of his right shoulder. That's the physio's shoulder, not Williams' shoulder. He hasn't got his own right leg on top.
Get the replay of it. Yeah, he does ever so well against Grealish. Blocks it, and as he stands up, he didn't really stretch it though. It's not like he's overstretched. It's
well, having a good long look at him. Nuno's is standing. He's stroking his chin on the edge of the coaching area. He's not got his long beard anymore, Nuno. It's quite a trimmed version of that, but it's getting a bit of scratching as he's thinking and waiting to see what the verdict is on Nico Williams, whether he's going to be able to continue. There's applause for him from the Trent end. He's on his feet.
Oh, it doesn't look good.
You don't think so, Chris? No. Looks as though it might have to be a change for Forest. Well, they're going to have to defend with 10 men. As De Bruyne takes this in, and it's headed in at the near post. Gvardiol got to it. Defenders were with him. That's an excellent near post header from Gvardiol, who suddenly has started scoring for Manchester City. They're 1-0 up, and it's the Manchester City fans in the sunshine in the Bridgeford stand who are celebrating here after Arsenal's great win earlier. Now Manchester City are in front here in Nottingham, 1-0.
Well, we talk about Forest containing them, not letting them get a rhythm and play. It's a set piece what's undone Forest. They'll be very, very disappointed about that. You can see in open play, yes, Man City do that with teams, but set pieces, Forest all on the heels. It's a great header, it's a great ball. I watched Pep Guardiola when the ball went in. He turned to the dugout. I don't know if he's got a set piece coach, but he pointed to somebody as if to say, well done.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. If you remember at Anfield, do you remember when Manchester City scored there with that clever corner? John Stones, he did exactly the same thing there. So the credit very much going. They've spotted that with Forest, obviously.
Yes, he's just turned around and he pointed straight to the guy. So
there we are. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 1. They conceded the goal when they had only 10 men on the field. And Nico Williams, there's no way he's continuing in the match. The restarted play with just 10 men on the field. So Forest are going to have to make a change. And Montiel is now being brought forward to come onto the field. So 1-0 Manchester City. Gvardiol, that's his third goal after he got his first one, remember, in the Bernabeu, his first goal for Manchester City in the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final, then scored his first goal in the Premier League. Now that is 3 this season for the left-back, as he's been really for the majority of this season, Josko Gvardiol of Croatia. And Manchester City now, the difficulty of this match for Forest to get anything out of it now has just shot up. It's rocketed. The Opta computer will be putting a big percentage.
Yeah,
on
big ask now, real big ask.
Rodri passes it out to the right-hand side, Grealish, then to Gvardiol, the man who's just opened the scoring, back to... They're still playing with 10 men, Nottingham Forest. You don't want that against Manchester City. Rodri receives it again, 30 yards out, just at the point where the sunshine meets the shadows. And now Grealish runs into the shadows to the edge of the area. Bully stands up strong, is able to get a touch on that. Comes back though from Guardiola. Grealish drags it back for De Bruyne, outside of his boot with a cross. That's headed away by Niakate and then headed down and out of play by Elanga. And that means that Forest can make this change now. And Gonzalo Montiel is able to come on for what is only his 16th appearance this season, 7 as a substitute, to take the place of the unfortunate Nico Williams, who might have scored in the very first minute of the match. Williams. Forest again defending. Bolly's able to come out with the ball and then lifted forward for Elanga to chase, but Guardiola gets there.
They just can't get out, John. They've had that spell. What is it now? 35 minutes coming up. And
have you ever felt like escaping to your own desert island? Jane Gaskin did exactly that, trading in the family home to begin a new life in the tropics. But she soon discovers that paradise has its secrets. I'm Alice Levine, and this is The Price of Paradise, the island dream that ends in kidnap, corruption, and murder. Wish you were here? Follow The Price of Paradise now, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Across the box, Grealish thought it was coming to him, but it was cleared away by Montiel just onto the field, and then Montiel with a follow-up, and then Elanga with a little touch, and now Gibbs-White drives forward, still inside his own half, and he finds the pass out towards the left-hand side to Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's up against Kyle Walker. Hudson-Odoi still going. Doku fouls him. Free kick taken quickly. Aina with a cross. Woods in the middle. Can't get a clean header to it. Defenders either side of him. It just bounces down for Ederson.
too much. The cross was too high. It was looped, wasn't it? He would have to generate his own pace, and he couldn't. Needed to be whipped in a little bit flatter. So they'll still carry a threat for us, but as we expected, City dominating the ball.
Right idea there with a quick free kick.
Yes, definitely.
Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 1. This is 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC, live from Nottingham, the vibrant city of Nottingham. I drove into Nottingham at about 11:15 last night, Chris, after being at Goodison Park. It's fair to say the city centre was lively. It is one of the great night spots, but a fantastic looking city. I inadvertently drove twice round the castle earlier. Here's Ake, now to Bernardo Silva on the left-hand side. Bernardo Silva coming in field, plays the ball back towards Ake on the halfway line. Rodri, then a touch from him. They've got the confidence, haven't they? The confidence of champions.
That's what they needed, the goal, since the goal. Now it's like Forest, what do? They've got a game plan. Nunes, he'll be saying, look, just stay tight. We may catch them on the break. We don't want to open it up and make it 3 or 4.
Bernardo Silva then into Gvardiol, but Bolly does well, and it breaks forward for Elanga, and Chris Wood's actually out here on the right-hand side. Elanga wanted a free kick. The referee's played the advantage. Danilo now out to the left-hand side to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi against Walker again. Doku helping him out. Still Hudson-Odoi. He's got support there from Aina, but it's all slowed the momentum of this attack. Forest, as Chris Waddle's been saying, they're looking for the quick break, the counter-attack, and City are back in position. However, Aina's got the chance to cross again. Here it is to the back post, pulled across by Montiel. Oh, what a miss by Wood. He miskicked it. 4 yards out, missed his kick altogether and puts his hand on his head.
That's where they're getting enjoyed on that left-hand side, Forest. Hudson-Odoi. It's a great ball in. Chris Wood, just got to put your foot through it. Side foot, control it, just direct it onto the goal, you score. I mean, what a chance. You don't get many chances like that today.
Got to take them.
Oh, most definitely.
So much for the best shot-to-goal conversion
I was just thinking
rate
of that when
in Europe.
He's got a second now.
That's for a centre forward, and it's let's give him a little bit of something. It's slightly awkward for him. It's slightly behind him.
That's his job, John. You know, listen, goal scorers get the praise, and rightly so when they score.
But you've got to put that.
You've got to put that away. That's a great opportunity.
So it should be 1-1, but it is Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 1. City, as I say, knowing that if they win these last 5 Premier League matches of the season, they will win the title. How many times in the last 14 years, Chris, do you think Manchester City have won their last 5 league games of a season?
How many times?
In the last 14 years, how many times have they done what they need to do this season?
3 times.
They've done it 5 times. That doesn't bode well, does it?
No.
For Arsenal supporters. Here's Rodri. Walker then tries to fizz one of those passes through. It's a sort of Trent Alexander-Arnold style pass, wasn't it? But it went all the way through to Sells, the goalkeeper. So 1-0 Manchester City lead. And that's how it finished, by the way, in the Manchester United match in the Women's Super League, as De Bruyne charges down a pass and it's out of play for a throw into Nottingham Forest. Leicester City 0, Manchester United 1, with Ella Toone scoring the goal. And she is very much involved on BBC Sounds at the moment. Brand new on BBC Sounds, a new podcast where Vic Hope is with Ella Toone and Alessia Russo. You will find that, as I say, on BBC Sounds, where you'll be able to listen to all of the BBC's live radio. And right now on Sports Extra, a choice of listening. I presume there must be county championship cricket being played at the moment. It's absolutely glorious here now in Nottingham, despite all of the early rain. So that is what's on Sports Extra right now. Nottinghamshire, in this round of matches, are away to Warwickshire. Ball played back to Ake. Ake across to Akanji. And Akanji gets it under control with less than 5 minutes of the first half to go. It's been a good contest, has to be said. And now Forest with Gibbs White, the Wood, and Hudson-Odoi attacking and shooting, right-footed, but he got underneath the shot as the challenge came in on him, and the ball just drifted away over the top of the crossbar. And he's asking there, Hudson-Odoi, whether when the challenge came in, whether it might have been a foul for him, but Simon Hooper's not interested in that.
No, he's definitely not, but Doku gets caught in possession, doesn't he? Sloppy pass inside to Rodri, doesn't get there. Hudson-Odoi then decides to pick it up and does what he does, comes inside on that right foot. He's looking foul for him. I'm just looking at the replay. There's no foul. Kevin De Bruyne comes behind him. I don't think Kevin De Bruyne does anything.
I think if anything, it's Hudson-Odoi in shooting actually catches the leg of De Bruyne with his shooting right foot, and that's what actually put him off. Here's Alvarez down the left-hand side. City would love a second goal before half-time. The left-footed cross. It's over the top of Gvardiol, who was in the centre-forward position, Gvardiol, but he mistimed his jump, missed it altogether, and it's Forest who come forward. Down the right-hand side, Gvardiol's side needed one pass there from Elanga, not able to deliver it. It was blocked out of play, and he's frustrated, Elanga. He knows he's missed the chance.
2 exciting wingers they've got here, Forest, but it's the end product. That's what they get judged on as a winger, and at the minute, they're not... There's no end product to what they're doing. Their approach play is good. They've got pace. They get the other side, the full-back on many occasions, but final ball.
Throw in then. Talk about Manchester City scoring a second goal before half-time, possibly. Well, the opposite of that is Nottingham Forest fancying that from this long throw, in fact, they take it short to Montiel. And then it's in towards Elanga on the edge of the box. Back to Aina, who took the initial throw. Aina to Montiel, poor ball in. It actually hits Gibbs White. Gibbs White tries to recover something from it. Montiel dives in. City, if Rodri can come forward. Well, Montiel has gone down, clutching his face. Not sure there was anything in that. And now Willy Bolly, 25 yards out. Murillo plays it through, and Wood on his heels. Couldn't control it, was offside anyway, and it's a free kick to Manchester City. And I don't know what Montiel was trying to do there when he put the challenge in on Rodri.
Yes, it was about that's still a challenge. Well, the game's gone a little bit scrappy just before half-time.
It's worth actually mentioning as well, remember in the game in Manchester earlier this season, Rodri was sent off. Do you remember him lashing out at Gibbs White and was sent off? But at that stage, Forest were already 2-0 down in the match. Foden and Haaland were the goal scorers there. Neither of them involved. Foden not involved at all today, so he's not going to be able to add to the terrific 24 goals that he scored this season in all competitions. But we might see Haaland later. Having missed the last couple of matches, he's named as among the substitutes for Manchester City. City 1-0 up through that Gvardiol goal. Could have had a second, Chris, couldn't he, when he was in the centre-forward position?
He should have headed it. He let it go. I don't know why, unless he got a shout.
Forest clearing, Bolly to the halfway line. Wood flicks it on, and then Montiel wins the throw-in off Gvardiol. Pep Guardiola comes forward and gives his team a bit of encouragement as he hitches up his grey trousers. And Montiel is going to take this throw-in right in front of him. Montiel with a throw to Wood. That bounces up. He heads it back to Montiel. Wood, then it hits Wood. as it's cleared by Bernardo Silva. A little scrappy, but now De Bruyne, a touch from him, he gets it back on the halfway line, but he's being chased by Danilo, so he's just going to pass it all the way back to Ederson in the goal to our right, actually 4 or 5 yards outside of his penalty area, the Brazilian goalkeeper of Manchester City. Well, Walker was just a little late under that challenge with Hudson-Odoi, and I think has hurt his foot. And then the pass forward for Hudson-Odoi, he can't bring it under control, it's out of play for a throw.
Well, at first I thought it was a late challenge, but the ref said play on. Kyle Walker gets back, but the ball goes out of play. And I mean, I don't think City's been anywhere near the best, but they controlled the football much.
I think even Manchester City, when you see a team play as well as they did on Thursday night, it's very difficult, isn't it, to replicate that in the next match.
Yeah, definitely. And you think Chris Wood takes that chance? Could be 1-1.
Yeah. Really big opportunity missed by Chris Wood. We've got Chris Wood on the pitch, and just sitting in front of us here, we've got Chris Woods, your old teammate.
Yep.
4 minutes of added time. Steve Hodge is with us as well here today with BBC Radio Nottingham. It's like a reunion for you.
It was, yeah.
Here's Bolly bringing the ball forward from the back, passing it towards Montiel on the halfway line. Equaliser for Bromley in the National League playoff semi-final. Bromley 1, Altrincham 1. That was a 4 o'clock kickoff. And Manchester City with Rodri. Here's De Bruyne. Hair swept by the wind. Out to Grealish. Grealish now. It's slow Grealish here as he just jogs forward with the ball. Bernardo Silva to his left, then De Bruyne. Bernardo Silva then back to goal scorer Gvardiol. Manchester City then using Walker in the centre circle. I made my vote this week for the Football Writers Player of the Year, and I did think about Kyle Walker, actually, as the ball's passed forward by Walker. But Aina gets there first and plays it back to Sells. Right-footed ball to the halfway line. Headed in field, chested down by Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White does well against De Bruyne. Goes back into central defence. Murillo with the pass forward. Hudson-Odoi now. He's got a lot to do from here, but he sets off now towards the penalty area. He's got support from Aina, who runs on down into the full-back position. He's against Akanji, and Akanji puts in the challenge, and it's out and behind for a Forest corner in added time at the end of the first half. 4 minutes of added time.
Well, they do carry a threat for us. You can't say they don't. They've got, as I say, pacey wingers. Chris Wood's always in the middle waiting for service. Gibbs-White just behind him.
So corner now. Forest send up Murillo into the 6-yard box. They've got Chris Wood on Ederson. I think this is something that Forest have identified as well, isn't it? The earlier corner, which was right under the crossbar. So this corner for Nottingham Forest. It is right under the bar. Ederson comes through, doesn't make it, and it's scrambled wide. I think it was Murillo who got the final touch on that in amongst a crowd of players. Ederson was really struggling there, and it was hooked wide by Murillo. Yeah, and he's got his hands on his face from almost point-blank range. I mean, he was stretching for it, but could only hook it wide.
They're great corners. Goalkeepers hate balls with pace under the crossbar. Basically you're saying to the player who's taking the corner, shoot. They don't like it with pace. Tell the goalies, you get round them, they don't like it.
He got his fist to it and punched it down. And Murillo's unfortunate. He had his back to goal. He sort of tried to flick a leg out behind him, and he got a touch on it, but could only deflect it over the top of the bar. But that's a chance. That's 2 big chances.
Good corners, Em.
Yeah, very good. So Manchester City, their corner routine, what they identified worked for them, for Gvardiol to head in the 32nd minute. And Forest have been a little unfortunate that they haven't had a break with the two that they've played like that. Here's Gibbs-White. Half-time whistle not far away. Still just 1-0. Gibbs-White going back into central defence to Niakate. Plays it out to Aina over there on the left-hand side. And then in field, Hudson-Odoi receives it, but he's got white shirts all around him. So Forest have to go back into their own half. And Danilo, who's 23 tomorrow, the Brazilian, plays it forward to Gibbs-White, but his long ball downfield is easily collected by Ederson, who sends it long back into the Forest half. I reckon we've got about 20 seconds of the first 45 plus to play. One last Forest attack maybe. I think Guardiola's going to cut that out, which he does. And now Rodri passes the ball in between Danilo and Hudson-Odoi. This is for Walker, and then Walker finds De Bruyne 30 yards from goal, who passes it to the left-hand side to Grealish, and Grealish is into the penalty area. He's got Bernardo Silva if he wants. Grealish still holding the ball, then back to Rodri, and then square to De Bruyne, who curls a right foot shot that hits Niakate, bounces down, and I think that is it. It is. Simon Hooper blows the whistle, and Manchester City have the lead, but only by 1-0 at half-time as the players walk towards the tunnel down below us.
I'm going to say Forest are doing well. City, yes, dominating possession as we expected, not created a lot of chances. And you've got to say, arguably, Forest, Chris Wood takes that chance. It should be going a draw 1-1. But it's 1-0 City, and you'd like to, well, subs could be a key here for Forest, because once the pace comes down, they need to get fresh legs on.
Lively discussion there going on between Rodri and Nathan Ake. You know, Rodri does not seem best pleased about something, and you know, his body language was kind of suggesting that it was a sort of plodding body language from him. And so City, the final player, Rodri, disappears, and down they go for their half-time break. Nottingham Forest not taking the big chances they had, particularly Chris Wood. They're unfortunate to lose Nico Williams as well, so Montiel's come on for him. But Manchester City are on course for another win. Half-time, Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 1, so it's not over yet.
It's been one of those first halves, Chris Waddle, where you look at Forest and think, remind me how you're down there.
I know. I mean, they've got exciting players who can hurt you. You know, 3 or 4 of them, and it just makes me wonder how they've lost so many games. They've caused a threat here, a massive threat to City. City have not been at the best. You know, whether it's the travelling Brighton and big games they've had with Real Madrid, whatever, might have took them out slightly, but you know, they've done enough to be in the lead. We know that, but it could easily be a draw. Forest have carved themselves out a couple of good openings. Chris Wood should have scored, hit a target at least. So yeah, there's not a lot in this. I think City will be delighted that they're 1-0.
Murillo's a player, isn't he?
Yeah, you can see why other people have looked at him, and if Forest were to go down, which I don't think they will, I'll be honest, they'll do well to keep a hold of players like that. But yeah, Forest are a good side. They've got a good squad, and you look at it on paper. What you said at the beginning, I'm very, very surprised they're in a relegation fight.
I'm becoming less and less surprised when Gvardiol scores now. I mean, his first goal in the Bernabeu was amazing. This is his third, and it was another almost striker's finish. You know, those headers when you head the ball outside the post and manage to flick it, you know, that's not easy.
No, it's not. It's a good delivery, a lot of pace on it. He basically directs it towards the goal. Let the pace of the cross, the corner from De Bruyne directs it to the target, and nobody saves it. You've got to say they were down to 10 men at the time. Nico Williams was off, but that's something they've spotted, and their set-piece coach, whoever he is, I don't know who he is, has noted that, because I watched Guardiola turn around as soon as it hits the net. He points to some guy in the dugout as if to say, well done, and it was an excellent corner.
Chris, John, thank you very much for the time being. Second half commentary, of course, to come from the City ground. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 1. Just been an absolutely brilliant goal scored in that National League playoff semi-final, and it is another for Bromley. So half an hour to go. They were 1-0 down at half-time, but it is now Bromley 3, Altrincham 1 in that playoff semi-final. We'll keep you up to date with all the rest of the scores, and we've got reactions to come as well from Tottenham 2, Arsenal 3, and from Bournemouth's victory over Brighton. We'll try and squeeze in some Rangers as well. So Clement, Iraola, Postecoglou, Arteta, all on the way after the news with Richard Foster.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Alba Party says a renewed push for Scottish independence is the price of its support for the minority SNP government. The First Minister, Humza Yousaf, is facing a no-confidence vote in the Scottish Parliament this week after ending a power-sharing agreement with the Greens. Alba's leader, Alex Salmond, says a deal can be done.
Ash Regan, who leads Alba in the Scottish Parliament, is obviously in a highly influential position given the political arithmetic. She will be meeting with Humza Yousaf at his invitation. She'll take with her some very reasonable, positive proposals, which hopefully, if the First Minister accepts them, will help him to get out of a very tight political corner.
Ministers are defending the government's record on the NHS after a Conservative MP defected to Labour. Dan Poulter, who's a part-time NHS doctor, says he can't look his colleagues and patients in the eye as a Tory. The government says more money is being spent on the health service than ever before. Ukraine says a series of Russian attacks have made the situation on the Eastern Front much more difficult. Moscow's hoping to make gains before the latest US military help arrives. A dog has been put down after attacking a woman in Dumfries and Galloway. It happened in the village of Kellerholm yesterday. The animal's described as a large bulldog-type dog. The woman's in a serious condition in hospital. Campaigners living near an ancient bluebell woodland in Kent say it's been turned into a desolate wasteland, buried under illegally dumped waste. A petition signed by more than 6,500 people is calling for an immediate clean-up of Hodes Wood near Ashford. And a 101-year-old grandma from Michigan's caused confusion on a flight in the States because staff expected her to be a one-year-old baby. The airline's computer systems struggled to understand her date of birth as 1922 and instead registered her as being born in 2022. The woman called Patricia has laughed off the error.
It was funny that they thought I was only a little child, and here I'm an old lady.
Patricia, an old lady, not a baby.
Political parties are drawing up the battle lines ahead of a general election.
Later this week, local council elections, mayoral elections, even a parliamentary by-election are taking place across England. And voters in England and Wales will be voting for police and crime commissioners too.
This is the final time most voters will go to the polls ahead of a general election. So join me, Rachel Burden and Nick Robinson as we bring you the results and commentary through the night.
We'll be hearing from voices across the country and the political spectrum.
Listen live to the local election coverage Thursday night from 11 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport with Steve Crossman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 1 at half-time. Second half commentary on the way. Earlier, Arsenal won by 3-2 at Tottenham in the North London derby. Here's Mikel Arteta with Rob Nothman.
Well, Mikel, it was a massive day for everybody, and your team came through it. A measure of relief at the end?
Happiness. I would describe with happiness. You're going to suffer. You come here, it's an unbelievable stadium, great atmosphere, a great team. You're going to suffer. You want to win here, be ready to suffer. When you want big things, you have to be able to navigate through these emotions and these disappointments sometimes throughout the game. But at the end, the team find a way to win it and showed a lot of courage, especially the players that were involved in certain mistakes to do what they've done.
You weren't suffering, though, at half-time, 3-0 up. Was the message to keep that focus and drive?
Yeah, and to score the fourth one, because we knew the fourth one was obviously going to kill the game, and I think that's the approach of the team. We started the second half really good, created 1 or 2 big chances and dominated the game. But then, individual errors are part of football. We made one, then we made another one, but again, I love the reaction of the players. Put the sleeves up, start to suffer, be humble, defend your box because they throw everything at us, and pray and have a bit of luck.
2 of the goals in the first half came from set pieces. Is your set piece coach going to get a little bonus this week?
My set piece coach is phenomenal, not only on set piece but in everything that he does for the team. He does for me. I love him. He contributes in a huge way in our way of doing, like the other coaches. With everything has to be trained, has to be dominated. You want to compete with the teams that we competed in this league, and that's the thing. Be better every time.
And 3 games left. In terms of what this result does to self-belief coming to a big day like this, what does it do?
Yeah, when everything is at stake and you have to come to this ground and make a statement, it's not easy to do it. We've done it. We won. 3 games to go, 80 points. We are right on it.
Love for the set-piece coaches for both Arsenal and Manchester City today then, but not Tottenham's day. Here's Ange Postecoglou.
Well, Ange, big day, big atmosphere. How do you sum up your team's performance?
Look, we're obviously disappointed in terms of the outcome. It was a big game for us, big game for our fans, and we unfortunately gave ourselves a mountain to climb in that first period of the game, and disappointing outcome.
As we know, marginal details at this level. Those set pieces, how disappointed are you that you conceded 2 of them?
Yeah, all 3 goals were disappointing. That's where we're at. We're I think, for where we are now to where we want to get to, it's kind of about the details, and Arsenal are very good at them. We're not there yet. But sometimes you've got to feel the pain of what happens against good sides when you're not focused on the details, and you pay a price for it, a heavy price for us today. But an opportunity to grow and learn.
Tough end to the season then, with big games and quite a number of games coming up in quite quick succession now. Is it going to be difficult to lift everyone?
There's no choice, mate. It's not about lifting or not lifting. You're playing football, you're representing your club. There are games to be played, so I'll be surprised if anyone's waiting for me to lift anyone.
Very deflated Ange Postecoglou there with Rob Noffman. Lines are open for 606 08085 909 693. You can book your call in right now to speak to Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. Afternoon, Rob.
Afternoon, Steve. Well, managers there, the emotions of football, the emotions it gives you. One manager on a high, the other one, as you say, deflated. But what a game it was. Yeah. The North London derby now, Steve, is one of the biggest games you can get. What a game. They always produce, but Arsenal, I must say, that first half, Spurs had a couple of chances as well, Steve, but that first half, and I'm sure they were allowed to celebrate today. I'm sure Chris Sutton won't be happy about the celebration police.
Are you still on that?
Still on that, but 3 games to go. Man United away. I think they'll beat Bournemouth and Everton at home.
Right.
I think they'll beat Man United. I think Arsenal will win all 3. So with City winning, with that, Spurs against City is their big one, isn't it? That could be the title decider. Spurs against Man City. Currently 1-0. I think City will hold on. But wow! But were you at the game, Steve? Were you in the studio? Did you see, just after half-time, how many empty seats there were? I know Chris has this thing about people leaving, but there was lots of empty seats, wasn't there, at half-time? Just after half-time. Maybe they've gone for the, refreshments, but how many of those people might have left? And
I know what you're doing, Robin. I'm going to do it for you, mate. Yeah. Are you a Tottenham fan? Did you leave at half-time? 08085 909 69. Maybe they did. I mean, it was a horrible first half.
Oh, wow. But, there was a comeback. But Arsenal, they're showing great mentality, great spirit. Could this be their season? I'm just watching as well. Bromley being Altrincham. Altrincham 3-1. Altrincham first half were brilliant. Bromley 3-1 up. Celtic, what was the Celtic score? I've not seen it.
2-1. 1-2-1. Both 1-2-1, yeah.
So the title race is still on. I'm sure Chris will be really happy the title race is still on. But, Chris's Spurs losing at home, he'll be absolutely devastated, won't he?
08085 909 693. Have a good one, Rob. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Robbie Savage, Chris Sutton, get your calls in right now. Other Premier League score today, Bournemouth. Big win for them. 3-0 over Brighton. I know it's mid-table and all that, but it means that Bournemouth, well, they're already having a fantastic season. Another big win for them. As Robbie was saying, it's Bromley 3, Altrincham 1. There's still 20 minutes to go in that game. Celtic beat Dundee then to stay 3 points clear at the top in Scotland. Here's Brendan Rodgers with Brian McLaughlin.
Brendan, congratulations. How do you feel after that? Because it was a quite nervy end to the game, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we were in control of the game 2-0 and 50 minutes or so to go, and looked like we could maybe get another 1 or 2. But of course, when the goal goes in, it gives them a little bit of hope in the last period of time. So you then have to show your spirit and defend your box, because obviously we had lots of balls in aerial into the box and corners and long throw in. So, but it was very pleasing to get over the line.
In terms of where we are in terms of league positions now, it's status quo. In terms of goals scored and the points difference, is still 3 points clear with 4 games to go now.
Yeah, and the mindset is to keep climbing in terms of performance, in terms of goals scored, clean sheets. You reach the top, you want to keep going, and that's the message. So I'm looking forward to playing at home next week.
That's Brendan Rodgers. In the WSL, Arsenal drew 1-1 at Everton. That result gives Manchester City the chance to officially knock them out of the title race if they beat Bristol City later. Kicks off at 6:45. Manchester United beat Leicester by 1-0. Both Ella Toone and Alessia Russo scored over the course of those 2 matches. Their new podcast, The Tooney and Russo Show, is out. First 2 episodes with Vic Hope tomorrow on BBC Sounds. Elsewhere, Aston Villa drew 1-1 with West Ham. Spurs also drew 1-1 against Brighton. Crystal Palace have been crowned champions of the WSL 2. They'll be promoted to the top flight for the first time in their history. In the Women's Champions League, Lyon have beaten PSG 5-2 on aggregate. Of course, they'll play Barcelona in the final, who themselves beat Chelsea. Let's go back to the Madrid Open tennis and Russell Fuller.
2 wins now for Carlos Alcaraz, the defending champion, trying to complete a hat-trick, 3 in a row. Madrid Open title wins this week. He has beaten Thiago Seyboth of Brazil 6-3, 6-3. Mira Andreeva, who reached the last 16 as a 15-year-old last year, is into the 4th round again. She's beaten the Wimbledon champion Marketa Vondrousova. And I'm currently watching Danielle Collins of the United States, who's won her last 2 tournaments and her last 14 matches, a player who is retiring at the end of the year, suffers from endometriosis and has talked about it very, very eloquently. Well, her winning streak is in jeopardy because she's currently 5-3 down first set to the Romanian qualifier Jacqueline Christian.
And to the Crucible, where the second round of the World Snooker Championship continues. Jamie Broughton.
And we're watching the 4-time champion John Higgins take on Mark Allen in what's been a very close match so far. They resumed this afternoon tied at 4 frames all. It's still advantage. Well, it's now advantage Higgins. He's now 7-6 up. But Mark Allen is back at the table with a chance to level at 7 all. He's on a break of 45. On the other table, Stuart Bingham, another former world champion, is taking on Jack Lazowski. Bingham is tied at 7 frames all, but he's back at the table again. Tonight, Ronnie O'Sullivan resumes his second round match, 5-3 up against Ryan Day, 13 the target for a place in the quarterfinals.
Thank you very much, Jamie. Some full-time scores for you in Super League. It has finished Hull FC 12, Leeds Rhinos 18. In the Gallagher Premiership, finished Gloucester 17, Exeter Chiefs 38, Newcastle Falcons 14, Sale 35. We do have some cricket in some parts of the UK. We've started to see some slightly better weather. So in the County Championship, Division 1, after a rain-delayed start to the day, Warwickshire are 114 for 4 in reply to Nottinghamshire's 400 all out. You can hear commentary of the rest of that match over on 5 Sports Extra. Ready to go in the second half at the City Ground. John Murray.
Yes, significant changes as well to tell you about. Manchester City have made 2 substitutions, and Ederson, the goalkeeper, has succumbed to another injury. So Stefan Ortega, who, as we know, is a very good deputy, is able to come on. But Chris Waddle, I guess that's as a result of the injury that he suffered, that early challenge where we thought Forrest might have had a case for a penalty when he threw himself into Willy Bully and injured his shoulder.
Yeah, I thought they had a case. Willy Bully, the ball gets moved ahead. Kanji, I think, heads it away before then he takes out Willy Bully, but nothing happened about it. But obviously it has, because he's damaged his shoulder and away he goes off. So
yeah, Ortega's able to come on, though. The FA Cup goalkeeper. He's played in 5 different competitions this season, and he's so good with his feet. And in fact, he demonstrates that immediately by dragging the ball from one foot to the other and chipping it to Kevin De Bruyne. So Ederson is off, Ortega is on, and also Mateo Kovacic has come on as a substitute at half-time to take the place of Jeremy Doku. So as anyone who knows anything about Manchester City will know, Bernardo Silva now has moved across to a right-sided position, and Kovacic is one of the central midfielders. So it's 1-0 to Manchester City, but Nottingham Forest have given a good account themselves in this match, and they're coming forward. They're attacking towards the Trent end, as they love to do in the second half. And here's excellent work on the left-hand side. Oh, chance for Wood! Miskicks it again. A defender was in the way. Brilliant work from Elanga. Laid it across to Wood, who was on the edge of the 6-yard box. He turned it goalwards, but it was a weak shot, and Gvardiol cleared.
I think Gvardiol was in the right position, John, because that was rolling into the net. He just got in the right position, didn't know a lot about it. Here they go again.
It's Hudson-Odoi this time after Elanga created the last one. Hudson-Odoi cuts into the penalty area. A right foot curling shot, but it didn't threaten the goal. He tried to bend it in, but hit it well wide of the far top corner.
Great start, second half of Forest. Nearly scored before. Hudson-Odoi cuts inside, drops his shoulder on Bernardo Silva. He's got to wrap his foot round it and aim for that far post. He didn't get his foot wrapped round it. He's ended up striking the ball. It's gone well wide. But looking at that chance, Gvardiol just in the right place, right time, because that was going in the bottom corner off Chris Wood.
But Gvardiol intercepted it. I must say my instinct was that, again, Chris Wood, if he caught it, really caught it, that was a goal.
Yeah.
So Arsenal fans, if they're heading back from the North London derby, how frustrated must they be with this? Forest, who've now created, Chris.
They've had the best chances. Yeah, they've had the best chances.
As the ball rolls out of play for a throw-in, and Forest, they've got the Trent end, they've got the City Ground behind them. number of chances they've had, the opportunity that Murillo, who's in possession of the ball now, had just before the half-time break from the corner. Chris Wood, 2 big chances now, and not able to take them. Ake for Manchester City. So Forest now, having had to make their change in the first half when Montiel came on for Williams. Sells is the goalkeeper. Big save from him early on in the match from Kevin De Bruyne. 3 central defenders. Bolly, the returning Bolly, Murillo and Niakate, Montiel the right wing back, Aina the left wing back, Danilo and Gibbs White, then Alanga and Hudson-Odoi, and Chris Wood as the central striker, as Forest play the ball out from the back. And Manchester City now with Ortega in goal, same back four, Walker, Akanji, Ake and goal scorer Gvardiol. Rodri with now De Bruyne and Kovacic either side of him, Bernardo Silva on the left, Grealish, Bernardo Silva on the right, Grealish on the left, and Alvarez through the middle. There's no Phil Foden today, if you weren't listening earlier. He's unwell, as is Ruben Dias, so they're not involved at all. But Erling Haaland is there among the substitutes after his 2-game absence. 1-0 Manchester City lead through the well-worked corner in the 32nd minute. Gvardiol heading it in, and Walker with a throw-in for Manchester City down the line, which is blocked out of play by Aina. So another throw. This is level with the edge of the Nottingham Forest penalty area. Walker takes it quickly just after picking the ball up from the top of the cone. Walker gets it back. Then here's Kovacic, who I think has been playing well recently, and the chances he's had. Now out to the left-hand side to Gvardiol. Gvardiol from Grealish. Grealish is there behind him. Grealish, 30 yards out, steps forward, and it nearly stumbled over. Gives it to Rodri, though. Rodri's pass to the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva brings that down beautifully with the outside of his left foot. De Bruyne's ball across the penalty area. That's cleared out to Rodri. And then Danilo is able to win it back from Rodri. And he sends Alanga on his way. And Alanga passes it to Chris Wood, who's on the left wing. Chris Wood now moves infield. City have got men back. Still Wood. Wood all the way across to the right-hand side to Montiel. Montiel now pulls it back. Gibbs White with the shot, but wide by a yard and more.
Well, Montiel, maybe he's got a counter-attack again. Chris Wood spots it, switches play left to right. Montiel, for me, maybe could have put it in the box. There was 2 red shirts arriving. He's rolled it back. It's a hard angle, and it's coming onto the ball. Gibbs White, and it's always going wide.
Yeah, just tried to get the bend on it.
He tried to wrap his foot round it, but it never happened. And
no, didn't.
Well, they carry a threat for us.
They do. They'll have pleased the home supporters with the way that they've played here today. You know, this is real promise for the remainder of the season. There are 3 matches after this. As Murillo, left-footed pass downfield. This is for Alanga to chase. He's away from Ake, but Ake is able to get back in, but the offside flag was up. And Nathan Ake, who has really bust a gut to get there, Nathan Ake is looking at the assistant on the far side and saying, you know, I've absolutely extended myself there, and it's a delayed flag.
Well, it happens now, unfortunately. That's the rules, and I think all the footballers and everybody wants to see the flag go up automatically, but he's well offside. He's a good couple of yards offside, but yes, just stick your flag up, mate. Saves everybody sprinting 40 yards. How long did it take Alanga to, you know...
BBC Radio 5 Live.
The voice of the UK.
Every morning, Rick and I wake up with you on 5 Live Breakfast.
Good morning.
Hello.
We have let Rachel loose in the newsroom, so Rachel is roaming with a microphone.
We're in this fairly modern building, so once you come in through the rotating glass doors and into the main hall area...
Sounding a bit like an estate agent.
Yeah.
Past the age of 18, you shouldn't celebrate your own birthday.
No.
It's embarrassing, grow up.
Really?
Yeah.
All that and a whole lot more.
5 Live Breakfast with Rachel Burden and Rick Edwards.
Listen weekdays from 6
on 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
Alanga is up against Ake. Alanga turns again into the full-back position. Alanga against Gvardiol. Still Alanga. Kovacic is able to put in the tackle, and it's out of play for a Forest throw.
End product, John. End product from Nottingham Forest has let them down. I know last time Alanga was offside. This time, good position again. No end product. They're getting great positions for us. The way they move the ball, got a lot of pace.
Look, this must be some of the best football that Forest have played this season.
Well, I can't believe it in a relegation fight. I cannot believe it.
On this performance. And now looking good with Aina and Hudson-Odoi on the left-hand side, but they can't keep the ball in play, and it's out of play for a throw to Manchester City. Although, Chris, as seasoned football watchers, which I think we are, what very often happens in this position is that the team that is Manchester City suddenly break downfield and score a second
goal. Because they've got the quality, haven't they? Which, let's be honest, Forest have had 3 or 4 good chances, not took them, and when City do get a chance, they'll take it.
It is 1-0 to Manchester City. I know that I think you did lose us for a little period or so, but clearly you're now back with us. So apologies for the technical difficulties that were there. It is still 1-0 Manchester City, but Forest are in a very good spell. However, Manchester City attacking. Gvardiol's ball all the way across. Bernardo Silva very nearly onto that. It was just nicked away from him by the toe end of Aina, who's taken the ball away, and now he's off on a run up the left wing, and he's away from Kyle Walker. Aina then cuts in field, and his ball through was intercepted by Walker. But I think Hudson-Odoi knew that he was in an offside position in any case. What a run from Ola Aina.
Well, he must be quick to run away from Kyle Walker like that. I've never seen that before.
Ola Aina, the former Chelsea youngster, remember, who ended up at Torino, and it was from Torino that Nottingham Forest signed him. Had a spell on loan at Fulham as well. But that was brilliant play. As a left wing back, you can't ask for a better example
brilliant
than
change.
That.
Well, yeah, again, Forest have gotten some great positions, just not clinical. They just, that final ball lets them down.
Bolly in with a challenge on De Bruyne, which I have to confess, I thought that was a free kick. And De Bruyne has stayed on the ground, and the referee stopped play, even though it's not a head injury. That's why you can hear this reaction from the Forest
supporters. It's his knee, John. I think it's his thigh, his knee. He's come across him, hasn't he?
Well, it was Bolly who put in the challenge. Well, sorry, it's Grealish. It's Grealish
down. Sorry, yeah. Got the same haircut, haven't he?
Yeah, and it was Willy Bolly who he took the ball, but then just caught Grealish as well.
Catch him. It's a free kick. Look.
And Grealish is taking a while to get back to his feet. I mean, it's not been given as a free kick. It'll be a drop ball to restart play. Referee Simon Hooper is just coming across here. So it is 1-0 to Manchester City, and Grealish is okay. Doesn't need the physios, although he's still leaning over and clutching his right knee, and he's just swiveling his knees just to check and see that everything is okay. But the ball is back underway. Play is back underway. Nottingham Forest giving their supporters real hope here that they might be able to get something out of this, but from their point of view, I do fear for the opportunities that they've missed. As Danilo plays it through the middle, Ake is onto this to play it back to Ortega, who then clears from the edge of his 6-yard box. Forest, the support inside the ground, you can hear it. As I look down now, 3, 4, 5 Forest supporters on their feet, waving their arms, urging the team on. They're trying to do their bit. And the team are doing their bit, Chris Waddle.
I've been impressed today with Forest. I've got to say, and as I say, I keep saying it, I can't believe he's offside. It's got to be offside.
Pass from Gibbs White to Montiel, who was in an offside position. So a free kick to Manchester City, halfway inside their own half. So Pep Guardiola has already made a couple of changes. Haaland is on the substitutes.
Well, he's warming up now. Well, he's talking.
Yeah. And Ryan Yates is also warming up for Nottingham Forest, and we saw him at half-time, and there certainly seemed to be an indication that he might be an option to come on. And actually, Haaland's now being called forward. By the way, the answer to the question about Manchester City's set-piece coach, it is one of the assistants, Carlos Vicens, who is the man who's responsible for the set-pieces. So he was the man who was being pointed at by Guardiola. So Haaland just steps up his warm-up here. They'll take care with him, coming back from a muscle injury that kept him out of the Brighton match and the semi-final. Bolly in now with a challenge again on Grealish on the halfway line. This is given as a free kick. He might have taken the ball there as well, but he certainly took Grealish as well.
That's two of that, and that's two fouls, deliberate fouls, I've got to say. Referee Hoops has not get his card out.
So it is a free kick. Yeah, he's fouled him. Yeah, he didn't get the ball there at all. Free kick. So Manchester City take it back into their own half. Lines are open for 606, by the way. Robbie Savage back tonight alongside Chris Sutton to take your calls after Conor McNamara's sterling job yesterday evening. So the lines are open for the 5 Live football phone-in. 08085 909 693. Text 85058. Hashtag BBC 606. Nottingham Forest coming forward again. Danilo finds its way to Hudson-Odoi, takes on Akanji on the left wing. Hudson-Odoi's left-footed cross, a little glance from Elanga. Montiel with a shot with his right foot, didn't catch it at all as he wanted to. It was blocked anyway inside the penalty area, and Gvardiol is able to bring the ball forward, but the pass was a little short there, and Gibbs White was in on Grealish, who kept his feet there, Grealish. Hence the reaction from the crowd. Gibbs White. Now Forest go back into their own half. They've got momentum behind them here. The place is absolutely ready for Forest to find a way through here, but they won't do it like that. No. Murillo overhit the pass.
The first one he's give away, really, but they've looked bright, energetic, I've got to say, especially second half. They've really took the game to City. City do look a little bit jaded. I'm sure Alden will come on. Alvarez does a great job for them. He works his socks off, but he's not that goal threat, which Alden is.
Yeah. 1-0 Manchester City. So without the goals of Haaland and Foden on the pitch, that's a big loss. As Gvardiol takes the ball down on the halfway line, and he's able to take it on almost to the edge of the area, but Bolly does ever so well to step in. Gibbs White helps him out as well, wins the ball. Then Murillo with his pass forward towards the far side to Elanga, the former Manchester United man, Anthony Elanga, who was 22 yesterday. Remember that, Chris, 22. Here's Aina now. Aina on the left, rolls it forward. Hudson-Odoi on the left wing, up against Walker again. He's already put in one challenge, but then Hudson-Odoi plays it infield to Danilo. Forest in the red shirts, white shorts and red socks. The famous colours of Nottingham Forest. 2 times European champions. Hudson-Odoi passing it forward. And then the cross in from Aina, but that's intercepted at the near post by Gvardiol, who is able to clear it out of play quite comfortably. Throw in. Hudson-Odoi. The pace here, this is just exactly what Forest want. They're keeping this up. It's relentless. Erling Haaland is now stripped off. He's ready to come on. The top scorer, the 52-goal man of last season, and for all of his perceived struggles this season, still 31 goals in all competitions. He gets a firm pat on the backside from Pep Guardiola, and then he actually turns away, and he's going to change his shirt. Yeah. And here he comes then. Here he comes. There's Jack Grealish, who's coming off.
Jack Grealish. Alvarez to the left. No, he's having a word, Guardiola, with Alvarez. I thought it would be Alvarez coming off, but it's...
Yeah, it is Grealish. It is Grealish who's coming off. Well, I think he did genuinely feel that first challenge from Willy Bolly, but he's walking off easily enough. But here he comes then, Erling Haaland, after missing the last 2 matches. Mixed recent form, Chris. 12 goals in his last 15 appearances for Manchester City.
Not being the player he was last year.
But I mean, 12 in 15.
Yeah, I know, he still scores well. If you don't get chances in this team, you never get chances. But
however, he's not scored in 12 of his last 19 matches.
There you go.
So that is very much glass half full, glass half empty.
Yeah.
But with him on the field, it's obvious what the threat is. You cannot miss it. But Akanji has missed that pass to Bernardo Silva. He's put it straight out of play. So that is 3 changes now for Manchester City. Just the one for Forest. But this lineup that Nuno has picked today, the 3 central defenders, Gibbs White with Danilo in central midfield, they've posed real problems for Manchester City. Created chances, not been able to finish them. De Bruyne now sends through Alvarez. Alvarez to the edge of the area. Left foot shot. Dips over the top of the crossbar. Montiel went with him. Couldn't keep the shot down.
Great ball. Kevin De Bruyne out. Draws Bully out. Plays the ball in behind. He rushed it, doesn't he, Alvarez? He gets onto it. Can't compose himself. Just inside the box on the left-hand side. He's got to hit the target, but he rushes it, snatches at it, goes high over the bar.
Currently, after Arsenal's win earlier, Arsenal have 80 points, Manchester City on 76. And this is Manchester City's 34th match. Arsenal have played 35. And down at the bottom of the table, I imagine if you're a supporter of Luton or Burnley, then you'll probably be delighted that Forest have missed these chances. Forest just 1 point above the relegation zone, 1 point above Luton Town. That, of course, is with their 4-point deduction, their points deduction this season. And it is possible that we may find out the outcome of their appeal in the next couple of days. So listen out to 5 Live for that. Gvardiol coming forward for Manchester City. That's a poor ball forward for Alvarez. Sells is able to come out and pick that up quite easily, and then underarms it across the penalty area to Niakate, and the left-sided central defender thought about the long pass, then there it goes to Wood. That's a brilliant piece of control from Chris Wood. Took it down with his right foot, carried the ball out towards the left-hand side, up against Walker. Then Danilo loses out to Rodri. Excellent work from Manchester City's number 16, Rodri. He took that, he picked it, the pocket as clean as a whistle, as they used to say.
Yeah, well, that's Rodri, isn't it? What a player he is.
Here he is, centre field, through to De Bruyne, slipped the pass between two Forest players. De Bruyne, who scored with that header the other evening at Brighton, took it onto the edge of the box, but then checked back. Back it comes to Bernardo Silva. Rodri again, just forward of the centre circle in his turquoise boots. Rodri, who himself, as well as his brilliant midfield player, has, remember, scored 8 goals this season. Rodri then chips it towards Alvarez. In comes Gvardiol from the left-hand side. De Bruyne, 30 yards out. Excellent weight of pass to Rodri to his right, who then flicks it back to Walker. Walker out to the right-hand side. Manchester City, they might have weathered the Forest storm. This suddenly looks more like the Manchester City that we're familiar with, as they knock the ball around in the opponent's half. We've seen amazingly little of that today.
No, yeah, you're right there, John.
Here comes Ake, though, to the edge of the area. Montiel in with a challenge. That does, though, with Manchester City in this position, open the possibility for Forest to be able to get away on the counter-attack, which is what they're looking for all the time.
I think Pep Guardiola, you can see by his body language with what's behind him, and he's never stopped putting his hands on his head. Cannot believe what he's saying. It's not a Man City performance what we used to, but they're still winning.
4 league matches to play after this, and they've got 2 difficult away matches to come. Manchester City at Fulham on their day. You know what Fulham can do. And then their last away match is at Tottenham, and that's on the Tuesday night before the final weekend of the season. We'll have it all covered for you on 5 Live. And also, by the way, don't miss the big match this week with no British sides left in the Champions League. From a UK perspective, it is Thursday night, and we will bring you commentary on both legs of Aston Villa's semi-final in the Europa Conference League against Olympiacos. And the Olympiacos owner is sitting just down in front of us, isn't he? The Nottingham Forest owner, Evangelos Marinakis, is in his customary seat in front of the television screen. Manchester City coming forward, but that's an excellent challenge from Murillo. Alvarez and De Bruyne might have been away there, but superb defending from Murillo. And now Forest off on the attack after that. And the ball across from the right-hand side from Elanga, right across the 6-yard box. No one could get a touch, whether in white or red.
Do you know what, John? As soon as he picked the ball up Elanga, I watched Chris Wood attack the near post, and he pointed, but he never got his head up Elanga, and it was too late. When he did cross it, it was too late.
1-0 Manchester City lead. So it's a tight match. I'm not sure many were expecting that. And we've got just over a quarter of it to go. At the moment, City are doing just enough. De Bruyne now forward to Haaland. That's the combination that's worked so well. Haaland back to De Bruyne, but Forest had plenty of red shirts in there again. That's the way they've defended today. Safety in numbers. Manchester City with Rodri and Kovacic just exchanging passes. And then back to Akanji, 10 yards inside the Nottingham Forest half. As the sun tries to come out and the noise levels increase inside the famous City ground, where in the Peter Taylor stand, the Brian Clough stand is on the opposite side of the ground. The place absolutely full to the gunnels for the visit of the champions. De Bruyne and Manchester City and Kovacic in possession in the central third of the field. This is what they're trying to do here. They're trying to regain control of the match. And now it's played forward to De Bruyne, who shoots right-footed, and it's saved by a fly and sells to his right to push it away around the post for a corner.
Yeah, good effort, Kevin De Bruyne. As you say, John, they were very patient. They must have had, 15, 20 passes. And that's where Forest, for me, have got to go and get the ball back. Losing the game, you can't allow City to get into any rhythm. They've done it well so far, but this time they let City have 15, 20 passes, and De Bruyne ends up with a shot from just outside the box, and it's a comfortable but a good save.
It's 5 Live. And the World Service from the BBC, bringing you commentary from the City ground on what's turned out to be a really gripping contest. It's a corner to Manchester City, but I'm not sure if Murillo might have a problem, and that for Forest would be in every sense a massive problem. And Ryan Yates is now being called forward to get ready, but also I see that Andrew Omobamidele is also getting ready, so that it must be a problem. Omobamidele will come on into central defence, but he's still on the field, Murillo, as City have a corner. De Bruyne again into the near post looking for Haaland, but it was headed away by Murillo, who just stood there actually and headed it away. That was the same type of corner from which they scored in the first half, but not this time, and it's Forest now who break downfield. Wood is on the halfway line. Wood, but City are back quickly, and Daniel is going to lose this. He does, he's lost it to Rodri. Forest still have defenders back, but Haaland now to Alvarez, and it all slows again with Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne taps it to his left. Kovacic is there. Kovacic, he puts his foot on the ball, and here we go again. Forest behind the ball, and Manchester City just slowing it down. Clearly they didn't like the tempo that there was in the match, because Forest were controlling that tempo, and City here just trying to say, hang on a minute, this is us we're in charge of this.
Yeah, they've gone more narrow as well. They've took the 2 Wadish men off, obviously, Doku and Grealish, and they've put more narrow, and they're dominating the possession even more now. They're so close together, the De Bruyne, Silva, Kovacic and Rodri, they're so close together now, playing little triangles.
That's the voice of Chris Waddle, of course, with us here on 5 Live. Once Britain's most expensive footballer, once the 3rd most expensive footballer on the whole planet. Here is Kovacic in the centre circle. Kovacic just giving it back to Rodri to his left, and then Rodri gives White, forcing him back into his own half. For 6:06, the lines are open. 08, 085, 909, 693. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton back together tonight, as De Bruyne now plays it forward to Haaland in the area, beats his man and rolls it into the net. Haaland scores again. Wonderful footwork from the big man, on his left foot, onto his right, and just rolled it past the goalkeeper into the bottom corner. Haaland's back, and Haaland's on the score sheet with his 32nd goal in all competitions, his 21st in the Premier League. He's top of the list, and it is 2-0 Manchester City lead here against Nottingham Forest, and the Manchester City fans are celebrating in the stands, and Noel Gallagher is in there among them.
Yeah, typical Haaland goal that, wasn't it? Takes it ever so well, just picks it up, ball from De Bruyne, wasn't it? He just gets inside, gets on his side, 1 against 1. Muriel goes round him, change of pace, right foot, rolls it into the bottom corner. Doesn't blast it, doesn't just composure, which Forest have lacked in front of goal today. Look, just passes it into the side net and makes it look so easy. That was a great finish, that.
And speaking of Noel Gallagher, well, there is one band that's back together, and that is Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
And they combined together. Kevin De Bruyne, it was his corner for the opening goal for Gvardiol, and it was his pass through to Haaland. And Haaland, you know, he was metaphorically licking his lips, wasn't it, when that ball landed at his feet?
It was the ideal position for him. And the good thing with Haaland is he can go either way, can't he, left or right?
He might even have been literally licking his lips. It was such a lovely pass, simple pass, but perfectly executed from De Bruyne. And I'll make that now. I think that's 161 assists that he's got as a Manchester City player. It's an approximate number, because I think some of them are debated whether they are assists or not. But Murillo can barely walk as he trots forward.
Just tell him to go down, the manager.
He was going to make that change, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Remember as well, before the goal was scored.
He's gone down.
Yeah, and Murillo actually sits down in the middle of the half, and we will now have the change. A little bit like Liverpool yesterday, Chris. Jurgen Klopp was going to make those changes, those much talked about changes, bringing Salah onto the field. Nuno was going to make changes, but now they're 2-0 down, and it is actually, as we said, isn't it, Forest weren't able to take their chances.
No. Listen, they played very well for 65, 70 minutes, but Man City got into a rhythm and made the changes, and it's worked for Guardiola's team. But as for Forest, they don't want to ship 3 and 4 goals out.
Well, Danilo is coming off from the midfield, and there might now be an element here of thinking about the 3 matches that Forest have got left. But if they're losing Murillo, I mean, this could be him out for the remaining 3 games, and he's become one of their most important players.
Yeah.
So he limps off the field. Giovanni Reina has come on loan from Borussia Dortmund, former teammate of Erling Haaland. You'll have seen that act from Haaland before, once or twice. And yes, coming on into central defence in place of Murillo is the Republic of Ireland international Andrew Omobamidele. Corner, then throw in for Forest, long into the penalty area from Aina. City are able to head it away, comes out to Aina, square to Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White turns Rodri, leaves him on the ground actually. Don't often see that. And now Hudson-Odoi, that's a good ball in. It bounces to the back post, and the ball bounces off Wood and behind for a goal kick. Came at him quickly.
Forest I think they played very well. They give a good account themselves. Good energy levels, caused the threat, a lot of pace on the flanks. But you can, I can't watch them. You think, how are they in a relegation battle? But you can see why, because they don't take the chances. At this level, you've got to put the ball in the net.
Manchester City take this goal kick. However, Chris, this is the kind of thing, isn't it, that we say when we see an FA Cup upset, isn't it?
Yeah.
When a team, an underdog, will perform above their level against one of the top teams, knock them out the cup, and yet the next week in the league, you think, where's that team gone?
Exactly.
Forest with Yates. Yates now forward to Montiel, but that's won by Nathan Ake. And with the scoreline now of Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 2, it does feel as though Manchester City now will coast through the remaining 15 minutes. However, Forest come forward again and they win a corner. Win a corner over on the far side off Gvardiol. So Gibbs-White goes across there to recover the ball from in front of the hoardings from the Trent end. Sun's now completely disappeared. Overcast, even though we can't see an inch of the sky from where we sit here, right towards the back of the Peter Taylor stand. Gibbs-White takes this corner to the near post. It bounces through the bodies and is hooked away from the 6-yard box by Rodri. Comes out for Forest. Hudson-Odoi, and then Aina actually had City players in front of him, so had to play it all the way back to goalkeeper Sells with his right foot. The Belgian goalkeeper, long pass towards Wood on the edge of the area, but he's beaten to it by Akanji, and now Rodri, and back it goes to Walker. Akanji and Kovacic drops to the edge of his own penalty area. Kevin De Bruyne giving it away to Aina. Now Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi still has 2 City players in front of him. They managed to keep the back door locked there, even though De Bruyne was looking forward. Gibbs-White passes to the left-hand side, and then Hudson-Odoi back to Gibbs-White again. Gibbs-White, the only option he had was to go centrally again, so Bolly plays it to Omobamidele. Now to the right-hand side to Montiel, and then Omobamidele receives it again, and it goes back towards the halfway line. Bromley now leading Altrincham by 3-1, and that is it. That's the final whistle in the playoff semi-final in the National League. So Bromley, who were 1-0 down in that match, won by 3-1. Free kick to Nottingham Forest, forward and left of the centre circle. Lines open for 606 08 085 909 693 to talk to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton on 5 Live. You can read all about today's football, as usual, on the football pages of the BBC Sport website and app. Highlights on Match of the Day 2 tonight, BBC One, anytime on the iPlayer. and the Women's Football Show is on after that. Free kick taken forward into the penalty area. A stretch to pull it across from Bolly, but all he's done is hook it into the gloves of the Manchester City goalkeeper.
They've been close on a lot of occasions, haven't they, Forest? They just haven't got that, that quality to take the chances or half chances, which the top teams obviously do. But work rate and tactics and whatever you want to talk about, they've given Man City a game today. But in front of goal, that's where the problems is.
2-0 Manchester City lead, and you can hear that, I would imagine, in the change in the atmosphere of the crowd around us here, as Bernardo Silva has it in the centre circle. Rodri forward now to Kevin De Bruyne, who is challenged and fouled by Willy Bolly, so a free kick to City.
Willy Bolly's just signalled to the bench, get me off.
Yeah, well, having only played, this is his second appearance since December. He's picked up 2 injuries on international duty.
Kevin De Bruyne's not happy. I'm watching the telly. He's hurt his shoulder as well.
Well, he has had shoulder problems, hasn't he, in the past? It's maybe the way that he fell.
He's not happy.
Landed on his arm.
Yeah.
So he's taken a little while to recover from this, so let's keep an eye on him. City have already lost Ederson with a shoulder problem. There's Gvardiol. He's not had the easiest of seasons, Ederson, with injuries, as Manchester City go back towards the halfway line. Just to underline it, Chris, at half-time, as Bernardo Silva is just holding off Gibbs White, I think he was fouled, free kick to City. At half-time, Forest's expected goals figure was 1.31, which was the highest any team's managed against Manchester City in the first half of a match this season in the Premier League. That's quite a feat, isn't it?
It is.
That's a big tick for Nuno as well, the way that he set up his team today. He's going to bring on Sangare as well to replace Bolly, who is labouring. Bolly, as Haaland goes past him, and then also past Niakate, but then plays it back to Bernardo Silva. Walker infield towards Rodri as the sun comes out again. Longish shadows now across the pitch of the City ground. Kevin De Bruyne just outside the area, and Manchester City with a 2-goal lead are comfortable now, comfortable in the match, and I think we can begin to write in 79 points against their name. So Arsenal will have 80, Manchester City 79, and Liverpool trailing now back on 75 as the ball is played forward for Forest, but too much on that. Ortega is able to field that quite comfortably. So how do you see it, Chris? The top of the table as Haaland turns, comes forward again. We'll come back to that.
You're very surprised, John, if City don't win this league. Very, very surprised.
Rodri now carrying it forward, tapping it back in field. Arsenal still got to go to Old Trafford.
You don't know what you're going to get there, do you? You could end up winning 3-0 or getting beat 3-0. You don't know.
Lose 6-5.
Yeah.
Here's Rodri, the great entertainers, Manchester United. I've been saying that for a while now. If you want excitement, if you want goals, if you want leads changing hands, Manchester United are your team.
Yeah, exactly.
And Eric Ten Hag joined in with that yesterday. Here is Rodri through the middle to Haaland, then back again to Rodri. They've got control now, the champions. Got the FA Cup final against Manchester United to look forward to. 5 Live, the place to listen to that. The All-Manchester Cup final for a second year running. Rodri playing it across. So it could be a Premier League FA Cup double this season. They've already won the UEFA Super Cup and the FIFA Club World Cup, hence that badge, that golden badge on their shirts now this season. Bernardo Silva. Wouldn't be a bad season, that, would it?
Listen, they're an unbelievable team for the last, how many years now is it? You know, they just keep going every year, in contention to win everything every year.
Yes, although as Richard Masters of the Premier League said, we're not too far away now from finding out the results of the independent commission into the 115 charges against Manchester City. Forest have had to deal with their points deduction this season. As City, Alvarez now through to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva turns back, gives it to Rodri. This is a lengthy period of Manchester City possession. Gibbs White has got a touch on it for Forest, but Gvardiol will get there first and keep it for City. Sangare can't get onto the field.
I don't think Bully's going to come off. Can they get the ball out of play?
They can't. We've got 6 minutes to go, or thereabouts. 7 minutes still to play. And the Manchester City fans now are shushing the Forest fans, who've gone rather quiet. There was plenty of promise, plenty of hope for them in this match. But Chris Wood really the main culprit, not able to take those chances. Particularly the one in the first half, I think. Here's Rodri, then a great figure of Rodri. Gives it to Alvarez, but he loses it, actually miscontrolled it, but Aina bringing it forward without any great conviction. He's still herring after the ball downfield. Ortega had to be quick there. Aina closed him right down, but he was quick with his footwork. And now Bernardo Silva plays it all the way back to the goalkeeper, Ortega. So the goals, one in each half from Gvardiol and Erling Haaland. So that does now make it 13 in his last 16 appearances. And he's clear at the top of the list of Premier League goal scorers with 21. Not the riches of last season, but he has missed the period, that mid-season period, not played in the last couple of games. Walker, infield towards Bernardo Silva, who misplaces his pass out of play. And we will now get the change made, and that's it for Willy Boly, who's made quite an effort today. I'm not sure how ready he actually was. He's certainly not match sharp, but that's been a fine performance from the Ivory Coast international. And he comes off with just over 5 minutes to play.
Well, let's see how he reacts in the next few days. He obviously will be tired, very tired. See how if he only cover for the next game.
Which is against Sheffield United, already relegated Sheffield United at Bramall Lane. And as one of the regular Nottingham Forest watchers was reminding me before the game, they've got a bit of rivalry going, Nottingham Forest and Sheffield United. After various meetings, remember all of the great kerfuffle that there was when Billy Sharp was involved in that incident, and Ollie McBurney. And so therefore there will be, as Walker is fouled by Aina, he'd slipped, but he was fouled. It's a free kick to Manchester City. So Forest have got to go to Sheffield United, then home to Chelsea, and that's another one where you never quite know.
No, Chelsea are capable of winning here, definitely.
And then the final match for Nottingham Forest on the final Sunday, away to Burnley at Turf Moor. So that could yet be the big attraction on the final day of the season.
They'll be thinking they'll win next week, won't they?
Forest with the ball on the halfway line. But, you know, this could be costly. What's happened here today with Murillo picking up the injury that he has. Nico Williams as well, as Hudson-Odoi is able to carry it forward down the left-hand side. Gibbs White at the outside of his boot. It bounces away to Yates. Now Montiel. Montiel tried to pull it back towards the penalty spot where Reyna was waiting, Gio Reyna, but it didn't reach him. It was intercepted. And now actually it's Kovacic who's able to carry the ball forward for Manchester City and pass it forward for Alvarez. But there is cover there. Omar Bamidele is able to play it back to goalkeeper Sells. He clears to the halfway line. Rodri nudging into Yates, and it's a free kick to Forest on the halfway line. There is urgency here, but I think everyone knows the game is up here, and the players now just wandering forward. Yates does eventually take the free kick, and I see one or two Forest fans as well are just now beginning to head to the exits. 4 minutes to play. Hudson-Odoi infield. On the halfway line for Forest, Omar Bamidele in the orange boots. Niakate, flick to Hudson-Odoi, then infield. Reyna is there, back to Hudson-Odoi again, who curls it forward for the run of Yates into the penalty area on the left-hand side near the byline. Reyna's available. He gives it back to Hudson-Odoi, who curls it in, and it has to be saved away, palmed away. I think he thought about catching that, Ortega, but as it got closer, he realised it needed to be saved and clawed away out to the far side.
I'm going to go, that was a cross, that, John. But he'll say not probably, but it was a good save by Ortega.
Yeah, made the save. So preserves the Manchester City clean sheet. 2-0 City lead. Lines are open for 606, 08, 085, 909, 693. Hudson-Odoi again against Bernardo Silva, who got a foot in on the ball, so he has to start again, and he does, crosses it right-footed. Ake is able to head it away on the edge of the 6-yard box. De Bruyne De Bruyne set up both goals in this match. However, Forest have it back. Aina does well. Left-footed cross, deep. It bounces all the way to Montiel, who puts in a challenge with Alvarez. The two of them came together at the same time. And Manchester City are able to clear it away to Alvarez. And then Gvardiol and Alvarez back to the goalkeeper. Another couple of changes coming for Manchester City. Mateus Nunes is one of them. And I could only see the hair of the other one. So I can tell you it's either Oscar Bob or Rico Lewis.
It's Bob, isn't it?
It is Bob, yeah, as Pep Guardiola moves away. So final two changes. It's not every match that Pep Guardiola uses all of his 5 substitutions, but he is today. I think with the way that the games have come, played on Thursday night at Brighton. So it's effectively 3 away games in a row, isn't it, with the FA Cup semi-final last weekend?
Listen, the game's won now, isn't it? He can, I know it's not much of a rest, is it, 2 or 3 minutes, but the job's done. You know, they're just looking at the points now, and they've done enough here to win. It's not the best performance we've seen by City, but it was definitely enough.
But part of that is down to Nottingham Forest, is it?
Yes,
not?
Definitely.
So Nunez is on for Kevin De Bruyne, and on trots Oscar Bob, the number 52, the Norwegian international, who, whenever I've seen him, he'll always do something in the match. He's a real talent, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got a lot of ability.
The 20-year-old. So he takes up a position over there on the far side, with Alvarez having come off the field. 2-0 Manchester City lead. Cross from the right from Yates, looking for Wood, but excellent take from Ortega. He's not the tallest goalkeeper by any means, but he was quickly off his line and was able to catch that ahead of the Nottingham Forest striker. Ortega, the ball, which he delivers right-footed downfield. This is for Haaland to chase. He's up against Niakate. Excellent finish from Haaland for the second goal. You can watch that on Match of the Day 2 tonight, as there is a foul on Mateus Nunes. Free kick forward and right of the centre circle. By the way, Sports Extra, in about 20 minutes, you will be able to hear the Bristol City-Manchester City match in the Women's Super League. So that is on Sports Extra on your digital radio or via BBC Sounds. Walker passing the ball down the line for Mateus Nunes. Nunes, who's holding it up in the narrow strip of shadow that there is now that the sun is brightly out on this April evening. Ball taken away by Gibbs White, but can only pass it out of play. The crowd for the visit of the champions, 29,677. And as Chris says, we are into added time now. 5 minutes to go before Manchester City can notch off their latest victory. That'll be their 24th out of 34 in the Premier League this season, as they look to retain their title. Also for Manchester City, it'll be 19 Premier League matches unbeaten, of which they'll have won 15 and drawn 4. That's what the rest are up against.
They're just too good.
Throw in for Forest. 3 matches to go after this for them to save themselves in the Premier League for what would be a 3rd consecutive season back in the top flight, but it's very much in the balance for Forest.
What I've saw today, listen, they'll be going up to Sheffield United, who are relegated, and they've got nothing to lose. So, but you know, will they be experimenting a bit to see about next season? And you know, Forest will be going up there expecting to win that. If they play like they did today, take the chances they will win the game.
City with a throw. Gvardiol, who headed in the opening goal, will take this. Manchester City, their final match on the final Sunday, when all of the matches kick off at the same time. That's against West Ham, whereas Arsenal are at home to Everton. Throw in way down in the Forest right back area for Manchester City. It's their supporters you can hear in the lower tier of the Bridgeford stand. They're absolutely soaked in sunshine. There they've got the odd yellow inflatable banana, of course. Their calling card. Throw-in is taken, cleared away by Forest up towards Wood. City, then Bob is able to, with beautiful balance, take the ball on one foot, pass it back with the other. Forest have been able to win it back though, but have to go backwards to Sells. We're already now in the 3rd minute of added time. On 6:06 on 5 Live, Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton reunited tonight, are waiting to take your calls on 08 085 909 693. Akanji volleying the ball away on the edge of his own penalty area. Haaland jumps for it on the halfway line. It bounces forward for Forest. That looked like it was a foul by Mateus Nunes. Clumsy challenge really on Yates, but it's a free kick for Forest. Now, well into added time. Forest send the players forward, but without a great deal of conviction now. It's going to be Reina who will take this free kick. Just waiting for, it's a very high line being held by the white shirts of Manchester City. Reina, right-footed, just chips it in there to the edge of the area. Ake heads it down. Montiel plays it to Yates. Then back to Reina. Right-footed ball in from him to the back post, but Walker's underneath that and chests it back to goalkeeper Ortega. I mentioned about player of the season. Chris, where would your vote go this season, do you think, amongst all of the candidates, whether it's Rodri or Foden or Declan Rice or Odegaard or whoever it happens to be?
I'd have to think about it, but Foden comes to mind straight away, so I'll be very surprised if he doesn't.
What do you think he's done this season that he hasn't?
He scores goals, but he's all-round play, and you've got to think sometimes, John, he doesn't play in the same position every week, does he? He's on the right, he's in number 10. Sometimes he's played as a 9. He's 11. Yeah, wherever he goes, he does a job, and he's getting older. He's getting better.
He's got a third child on the way.
Yeah, he's getting better though. He's getting, he's not reached his peak or anywhere near it yet. So, his goals this season has helped Man City out a lot, and his all-round game's has improved massive.
Yeah, Pep Guardiola saying maybe a third child will slow him down a little bit at the age of 23. They'll have their hands full, won't they? With those. Here's Forrest, Wood playing it forward. It's on the left-hand side with Hudson-Odoi. Then back to Aina. Aina has the option centrally that he uses of Sangare, who come on for Willy Bolly. Now Montiel slips over on the far side, and Bob was in like a flash and has taken the ball away from him. And Bob's now over the halfway line and gives it towards the left-hand side to Kovacic, who plays it back to Gvardiol nearer the halfway line. And Kovacic again through the middle. Haaland. Suddenly City are on the move here. Bob back to Haaland. That's a lovely ball into Haaland, left side of the area, and he managed to get the shot in on the fall. A sliding Haaland. Got a shot on target that Sells was able to save quite comfortably. And there we are. That's the final whistle. 2-0 Manchester City have won it. There is a firm handshake between Pep Guardiola and Nuno. Very good performance from Nottingham Forest today. Their first match after the furore of the past week. They're given a very good account of themselves, but the chances they missed, they've only got themselves to blame. And Manchester City won it with Gvardiol's header in the first half, and then Erling Haaland coming on as a substitute and being played in by Kevin De Bruyne to make it 2-0.
Yeah, I think City obviously dominated possession, which we expected. Forest had the moments. For an hour, they give Man City a very good game. Caused some problems, a lot of problems to Man City, who weren't at the best today, I've got to say. The passing and the pace of what they normally play at, the movement wasn't quite there. They looked a little bit leggy. Maybe he's playing with Brighton the other day, but they did enough. And as the game ran on, as soon as the second goal went in, that was it. It was game over. It was just about possession. So, but Forest, if they can convert the chances and the performance which they put in today, I think they'll be safe.
Yeah, Chris Waddle, thank you very much. As the Manchester City players walk across, handshakes all round, walking across to thank their supporters in the Nottingham sunshine here. A 2-0 win, so that's 5 Premier League wins in a row now for Manchester City. And if they win their last 4, they will retain the title. And Forest, they've got a battle to stay in the Premier League in their last 3 matches. The final score here, Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 2.
I think, Chris Waddle, there is always something very ominous for any other title challenger when it's the back end of April. You watch Manchester City, pretty far below their own extraordinary standards, still win by a 2-goal margin on the road.
Yeah, they're just an outfit who know how to win matches, and they've won championships, so they know what they need to do. I think today the pitch was a little bit bobbly, the ball was very lively, I could see that, and it caused them a few problems. And give Forest credit, they good organised. The tactics were good. They caught them on the break. Chris Wood had a couple of good chances on another day. Probably put them in the net. So they did, for an hour, they did give them a very, very good game. And then after that, the substitutions come. Players get tired. And we know Man City are technically excellent. And they just kept the ball. As I say, they know how to win these titles. And listen, I'd be very, very surprised if they don't lift it this year.
I almost think, Chris, that what Erling Haaland did when he came off the bench is almost a better indicator of his importance than scoring 4 or 5 goals at Luton, in that, they were under the cosh then, and Forest had so many chances. He comes on, one chance, one goal, game over.
Well, that's Haaland, isn't it? He's a goal scorer, as simple as that. Listen, he's not known for his link-up play, his dribbling, his skills. He's a goal scorer, and that's what he's good at. And when he come on, as soon as he picked that ball, got turned, he can go either side, left or right foot, and it was a good finish, onto his right, and he passed it into the bottom corner. That's why you pay a lot of money for him. That's why he gets a lot of goals, and that's probably why, with him coming back now, he will be the difference with lifting the title.
John, you made the point in commentary, and I think it's exactly right. It's so easy to look at Forest and think, if they play like that, they'll be fine. The point is, against a lot of the other teams in the league, they haven't.
Yeah, and as I say, they've lost one of their most important players today, Murillo, which looked like the kind of injury that you do wonder whether he'll be able to play in these last few matches. He is absolutely vital for them, and lost Nico Williams early in the match. And, as ever, at this level, to miss the chances that they did in this match, and I'm afraid it was Chris Wood who was most culpable for that. You cannot do that. You can't do it. It costs you. It did cost them.
Chris, John, thank you both very much indeed. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 2. So City now a point behind Arsenal, but with that game in hand, of course, they've got 4 to play. Arsenal have 3. Other end of the table, defeat for Nottingham Forest means they stay 1 point above Luton. They have both played 35 matches. Loads to get into from that game. And also, of course, the North London derby, Tottenham 2, Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 3. Brighton 0, Bournemouth are 10th in the Premier League table. No team outside the top 4 has picked up as many points as they have since the 1st of November. And they are now, in the Premier League table, very much potentially on course for a top 9, top 8 finish even under Andoni Iraola. 08085 909 693. Lines open. Book your call in with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. 606 follows the news with Richard Foster.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Home Office says it's entering the final phase of putting its Rwanda policy into practice. A report in The Observer suggests detentions of asylum seekers ready for deportation will start tomorrow. A Home Office spokesperson says people will inevitably start being detained in preparation for the first flight. Ministers are defending the government's record on the NHS after a Conservative MP defected to Labour. Dan Poulter, who's a part-time NHS doctor, says he can't look his colleagues and patients in the eye as a Tory. The government says more money is being spent on the NHS than ever before. The Alba Party says a renewed push for Scottish independence is the price of its support for the minority SNP government. The First Minister, Humza Yousaf, is facing no confidence votes in the Scottish Parliament this week after ending a power-sharing agreement with the Greens. And campaigners living near an ancient bluebell forest in Kent say it's being turned desolate because of illegally dumped waste. A petition signed by more than 6,500 people is calling for an immediate clean-up of Hodeswood near Ashford.
Can iguanas really run that fast? Will the monkeys make their escape? How on earth do they even film this stuff? When you're immersed in the natural wonders of our planet, there's no feeling like live TV.
So there you have it. That is the end of the match of today. And that is it for the today as well. There's no more matches all the way through today. So guys, thanks for watching. There may be a stream tomorrow. I don't know yet. I need to find out what's going on. I don't know if there's any. I need to find out what there's any commentary and stuff like that. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. The next streams, as you can see, are I think on Thursday, one on Friday. So one on Thursday, one on Friday, and some other stuff as well on Saturdays. the Saturday. I think, no, maybe not a Saturday. Maybe there could be a Sunday match. Maybe that's a Sunday match as well. But this is it now, guys. So please like and subscribe and post notifications. And I will see you all in the next one as well. So now, guys, I'm going to send you to the music place thing. And then, actually, no. I know what I'm going to do. I'll send you to this. I'll show you now. Let me just find it first on here. Where are you? Is it this one? Nope, it's not that one. There's one where it's... No, it is that one, isn't it? Sorry, guys. It's one. It is this one. So, guys, I'll see you soon. And, so, guys, I'm now going to send you to this video. Please, when you've watched, it's going to be a good video, this. And it's going to tell you about welcome to the Euros and are you ready for it. Anyway, guys, see you soon. Bye for now.